Savings off sale and clearance prices. Exclusions apply.
Hampton OB.
You guys have the best football show in America. I'm talking 48 contiguous states and Alaska and Hawaii.
You are correct, sir.
We won a football game, and we didn't score a touchdown. We didn't score a touchdown.
Lions and Bears. Oh, my.
Dobbs protected and picked by Jalen Johnson. Dobbs threw hot and on the deflection and interception by Brisker.
Obviously, our goal is to win the division.
We're going to take the North and never give it back.
These bears are wild, not trained carnival bears.
4th down and 3. And this one up in the air and picked off by Edwards. This one is intercepted by Chicago. Kyler Gordon. You want the Bears.
It's the Hampton OB Show.
A year and 3 quarters gone by, and you just won your 4th game without scoring a touchdown? You think we don't have a problem with coaching? Whose fault is it? The coaches. And this outfit that we have, they stink.
Hampton OB, sponsored by your local Chevy dealers at ChevyDriveChicago.com.
You know, if it weren't for those lines, we'd be running the joint.
I just want to know one thing, OB.
What time is it?
It's go time.
Go Bears.
Well, our imaging man, Mr. Ernie Scatton, outdid himself with that open air today. Hampton OB on the air here, sponsored by your local Chevy dealer, ChevyDriveChicago.com. Andy Mazer alongside the guys. Been a while. The last time we convened here, it was after the Monday night game against the Vikings. The thrilling 12-10 victory, but thrilling in the fact that they actually got themselves a division win for the first time under Matt Eberflus.
Well, and you know what? It seems like a long time ago, OB. And let's kind of do a reset.
Let's
go back down memory lane. And no, I'm not talking about all the times I had to take OB to dinner and he never could find his wallet. I'm talking about where this team has kind of found itself over the last month. Let's go back to the Thursday nighter against the Carolina Panthers. Remember, the whole buildup was, Justin Fields going to be back, and we stumble around and we find a way to kick a field goal at the end of the game. We beat the worst team in football. By the way, they had a chance to tie it.
Yeah, they did.
In the last minute or two. And then we go to Detroit. And for 56 minutes, it's almost like we waved a magic wand and we knew what we were doing. The offense was rolling. The defense was getting takeaways. And we were making Jared Goff look, pathetically bad.
Somebody forgot to tell him the game is 60 minutes long.
Bingo. And then we go up to Minnesota. And, with our tail between our leg. And we've got to play the almighty Joshua Dobbs. And by hook or crook, we forced 4 interceptions,
right?
And it was a nutty game, and yet as you so aptly pointed out in the post game, your second year, we finally win our 4th game. It's almost Christmas, and we don't score a touchdown. OB, what do you think could possibly happen today?
Well, I tell you something. This team and this coaching staff, I don't know. These guys think we have the greatest quarterback that ever played the game, the greatest head coach, the greatest coaching staff, the greatest offensive coordinator, and all we do is get our backside handed to us week in and week out. That just happens to be a fact. Which brings me down to this little situation here. Going back to the Detroit game, which was 3 weeks ago?
3 weeks.
Roughly.
Yep.
3 weeks ago on a Sunday, up in Detroit. They have a pass rusher by the name of Hutchinson. He's from the University of Michigan. He's one of the best pass rushers in this league. In the top 3, 4, max 5. The guy is absolutely terrific. Against us, he played in 92% of the plays. 92% of the plays against us. Our number one guy, the $100 million man signed for 4 years. Sweat, okay? You know what his percentage of plays he played in that game? 63%. 63% he was only on the field.
And the part that really bothered me was after that 56-minute domination period, we decided to take stupid pills and let the Detroit Lions go right down the field and score 2 unanswered touchdowns. What was he in on those? I think there were 17 total plays in the last 2 drives the Lions ran, and he was out there for what, maybe half of them? 10?
I got Danny, I got the information here. Against the Lions, on third down situation, folks, and in the red zone. That's when they're going in to score, okay? On third down in red zone, there were 18 plays. You know how many Sweat played? Again, our $100 million man. He was in 9 of 18 plays on third down situations in the red zone. Why wasn't he out there 18 plays? And it goes on. Also, on that final drive the Lions had against us that beat us, Edmonds, one of our crack linebackers, out of 11 plays, you know how many plays he was in on that drive? None. 0. Not even one stinking play. And Poles asked Eberflus, well, he said, what do you think about the situations with Hutchinson, with Sweat, our guys? And he went on and on about Edmonds and everybody, okay? And you know what his answer was? Danny, just hold on. What Eberflus said, that is just the way we do it. Well, I'll tell you what, if I was I would have decked him right there. That's just the way we do it. When you have one of the most expensive defensive players, it's supposed to be a destroyer on 50% of the plays in the red zone. That's the team going in to score on us. And he's sitting on the bench. Folks, it's stat after stat against the Lions. They're playing their best people every play. Ours are sitting on the bench. How the hell can you have one of our main linebackers in the red zone on the final drive, and the guy doesn't play one stinking play out of 11? 0 for 11. He was not on the field. And you think we got a good coaching staff? You think we got a smart coaching staff? What I'm telling you right now is, how dumb does dumb go?
Well, we have some issues with the offense. We'll talk about that when we get back, Andy. But the good news is everybody's healthy. Everybody's ready to play today. We're going to find out what they did over their off week.
Indeed. All right, let's take a look at the current odds on some of the key matchups this week. That's according to Circa Sports Illinois. We'll start with the Bears here. 3-point underdogs at home to the Lions today. The total is 43. And on the prop bets, the over-under on Justin Fields' touchdown passes today is 1.5. The over gets you plus 180 on the money line. The under will get you minus 210. Other lines in this division, the Vikings are 2.5-point favorites on the road at Las Vegas. That total is 40.5 today. And let's see, 2 fairly low totals on the board today as well. If you're interested in totals, the Jets-Texans game, over-under of 33, and the Jaguars-Browns game is 34. Now, that may have gone up because got news that Trevor Lawrence is actually going to start that game after what looked like a disaster on Monday night. So we'll check that one for you as well. Biggest spread on the board is San Francisco, 13.5-point favorite at home today over the Seattle Seahawks. You can bet like the pros with the world's largest sportsbook right at your fingertips. The Circa Sports app is now available here in Illinois. Now you can download, fund, and bet like a pro from anywhere in Illinois.
Well, the one thing I want to say about the stats that I just read real quickly here, stats don't lie, guys. These are actual numbers. And when you've got your number one defensive guy and you're paying him that kind of money, and where the hell is he? He's sitting on the bench in the critical situations. You got to be kidding me.
Wait, Tremaine Edmonds is the second highest paid player. He didn't even touch the field the last 2 drives.
Folks, we're not making this up. Okay? On that final drive, they had 11 plays, the Lions. Tremaine Edmonds was sitting on the bench. I ain't making this stuff up.
Hampton will be sponsored by your local Chevy dealer, ChevyDriveChicago.com. Put a Chevy Silverado in your toolbox today. Hey, have you ordered from Second City Prime yet? I was just telling OB that my wife and I made the hamburgers from Second City Prime.
Oh, boy, yeah.
I'm still having dreams about the hamburgers that we had the other night.
You remember when I had them, I told you they were fabulous. They're unbelievable.
Unbelievable is not even, you can't even put words to it. You've been hearing about them all season long, of course. And because you listen to this show, you're going to get 10% off your order. Just use promo code WGN10 at checkout. Plus, you'll get free shipping for orders $150 or more. Second City Prime Steak and Seafood is the best you will ever put on your grill. They exclusively source the top 2% of USDA prime steak. It's not the same overpriced steak you find in your grocery store. Second City Prime owners Chris and Susie, they search the globe for the best prime steak, the very best filet mignon, Japanese Wagyu, Australian Wagyu, bone-in ribeye, porterhouse, New York strip, and you're going to love the burgers. I'm telling you, you're going to love those burgers. The flavor, the tenderness, you're going to absolutely blow your mind. Visit secondcityprime.com right now. You'll get 10% off your order using promo code WGN10 at checkout. Orders ship the same day, or you can pick up it available in Northbrook. Visit secondcityprime.com. Use promo code WGN10.
Get your free Easy Tag today with a special 10% discount. Visit hctra.org. The 10% discount only applies to 2XL vehicles on Harris County toll roads.
Guys want to get the ball, especially when Coach put that chart up and see who's leading the turnovers. Like, guys want to be leading the turnovers, and, obviously guys want to lead the league and things like that. Like you said, it is. Like, guys are hungry, ball hungry, and everybody wants to get a turnover. Like, even, like, last week, I told myself I was going to get one and coming to them.
Hampton will be sponsored by your local Chevy dealer, ChevyDriveChicago.com. Jaquan Brisker talking about the turnovers that have been
plethora.
Created a lot of them, right?
What we've got, Nate, the last 2 weeks, 7 forced by the defense. Unfortunately, we've only scored 13 points.
That's amazing,
off
isn't
of
it?
all those turnovers. That's crazy. Offense has got to be able to wake up and get something out of it.
Yeah, the defense has kind of shown some signs when Matt Eberflus took over the defensive reins after Alan Williams was let go. But again, as you point out, they got to work hand in hand in tandem.
Yeah. They're better.
Yeah, I'm not saying they're Super Bowl.
But who were we playing?
Good
Carolina?
Point. Yeah, good point.
Is that a juggernaut, Obi? I don't think so. What about Minnesota? They got this guy off the scrap heap that's been in 7 different clubs the last 3 years.
Dobbs.
Dobbs he's done some 4 interceptions. I mean, is that so? All that being said, yeah, that's great. What about today? Think about this. Justin Fields has given a team a spark since he's come back. Now, whether you're thinking he is the long-term answer.
Which falls under who we've been playing. Come on, Dan.
I got it. But since returning, he's got 386 yards through the air. He's rushed for 163. By the way, Andy, do you know that the last 3 times Fields has played the Detroit Lions, he has averaged, get this, Obi, averaged 128 yards per game rushing the football.
How many wins has he averaged?
Not many at all.
What, does 0 be the number?
Well, again, that's why we're going to play today. But all that being said, last week in Minnesota, to be able to hang on and win a game without scoring a touchdown, it did check some of the boxes. Now think about this. It's the first time we beat somebody in the division. That checks a box. It's the first time we actually beat a non-losing team. That checks a box. Now, what about a winner? How can we beat a winning team like the Detroit Lions? We're going to find out here in about 30 minutes. All that being said, what they were able to put on the field for the first 56 minutes 3 weeks ago was a winning formula. Unfortunately, there was an implosion by the defense, and the offense couldn't come up with a first down, couldn't come up with a big play when we needed it, when we fell behind. So, again, a lot of things you can say, well, that's bad. I can see some silver linings, and I can see this team getting a little bit better. And again, I know, who is it? Carolina and Minnesota with, essentially a third-string quarterback. I got it, but I'm starting to see some glimpses of the culture changing. And now we'll find out today if indeed I need some eye treatments. If I'm seeing these silver linings, maybe they're not, right? We're going to find out.
The one thing that flies right in the face of that, Danny, is this coaching staff, this head coach and his coaching staff. I just gave you folks a few minutes ago the stats when last time we played the Detroit Lions. Our main stars on defense, our difference makers on defense, you know where they were? Sitting on the bench. They were not on the field. It's a fact. And Poles, the general manager, went to Eberflus after that game and questioned him. Why is Edmonds, why is Sweat paying millions and millions of dollars to play this game? Why are they sitting on the bench? When that other team, the opponent, is driving down the field on us and we're fighting to win a game. That's the story, Dan. That is the story. And his answer, that's just the way we do it. Oh, my God. I have a difficult time trying to realize this, trying to understand it, because I don't understand it in the game of football. It's 60 minutes of football. It's a very violent game, and how many times have I told you, you can die on that field, all right? Get your best people out there in the best situations. And guess what, Danny? We have not had them out there. The facts are right here. They're sitting on the bench. You got to be kidding me. We've only won 4 games.
Yeah, it makes no sense, especially even if you flip it to the offense, because you talk to Luke Getsy, and people have questioned him about his play calling, especially with Fields in there. And it seems, again, like he's trying to fit the round peg into the square hole because he has the square hole.
Well, the whole thing is kind of like an inverse proposition. Think about this, folks. If you are going to try and make a living throwing the speed screen, you really don't want your safeties, creeping up on the line of scrimmage, come up and put whelps on your receivers. You want to be able to stretch the field, and when everybody's worried about the deep, then you come with the speed screen, OB. That's when you've got big chunks of open area out there where the receiver, or if it's a back or whoever, tight end, opened the game against Detroit 3 weeks ago with a tight end speed screen. Think about it. I mean, all these different, possibilities.
Horizontal play.
But those plays work. It's almost like when it's 3rd and 12, that's the best time for a draw, because that's when all the pass rushers are going to be, pinning their ears back, coming, and you can pop a draw and maybe get 18, 20 yards. Same thing. It's an inverse proposition where you want to threaten deep and then come with those, horizontal plays and the speed screen. But no, we do it back asswards. We are throwing the speed screen all day, and finally, late in the game of the last 2 games, Justin Fields was able to find DJ Moore for a difference-making play late in the game. Where was that in the first quarter, the second quarter? And by the way, OB, my buddy Ronnie said, just to kind of to illustrate how important OB's point about being able to throw the ball. The game is about throwing the ball down the field now. To illustrate that, there's only about 5 running backs on schedule to get 1,000 yards this year.
Yeah.
Now think about that. I remember 15 years ago, there'd be a dozen. Now, only 5. And the game's changed, but that only illustrates how important it is to believe and adopt a philosophy of throwing the damn ball down the field. And enough with these speed screens. There was 21 of the 37 passes last week were thrown within 1 yard or behind the line of scrimmage.
That's an unbelievable stat.
It is, and a lot of that was RPOs, where if there's 7 in the box, you want to throw it out. And Minnesota, they did a good job of disguising and bailing. All that's being, what it is. Throw the ball down the field for a change.
All right, it's the Bears and the Lions coming up. It's time now for Raising the Stakes. It's sponsored by Second City Prime Steak and Seafood. If the Bears win today, you're going to win as well. The Bears win today's game, you're going to get a $100 gift card to Second City Prime Steak and Seafood. Dial us up right now. 7th caller, 312-981-7200. You can be our contestant. Caller number 7 right now, 312-981-7200. And you can order today at secondcityprime.com.
Their steaks and everything they have is the best, folks.
It's fantastic. My wife just texted me again with burger emojis because we're still thinking about the burgers. Hampton OB is sponsored by your local Chevy dealers at ChevyDriveChicago.com. Put a Chevy Silverado in your toolbox. More of our show coming up after a check of the news with Dave Schwann.
I got one more quick stat when we come back about Sweat, our $100 million man.
Sounds good.
It's Bob Surratt. Download the WGN app and make us the first button on your digital dashboard. See how at WGNradio.com.
35 degrees, cloudy skies at 11:30. Good morning. I'm Dave Schwann. The news is sponsored by News Nation. Gary's historic Emerson High School is badly damaged by fire. In sports, Northwestern hosting Detroit Mercy today in college basketball. Pregame 12:45. The tip-off 1 o'clock with Dave Ennett and Billy McKinney here on WGN Radio and WGNradio.com. Tonight it's the Blackhawks and Washington. Pregame with Joe Brand at 5:30. The face-off 6 o'clock with John Weideman and Troy Murray here on 720 WGN and WGNradio.com. And the Bears in Detroit face each other starting at noon. And our pregame show with Hamp OB and Andy Mazer continues right after this newscast.
On a draw with the puck drop at 6 on the home of the Blackhawks, 720 WGN.
Is you score touchdowns by getting explosives, right? We all know that. How do we do that in the running game? How do we create advantageous positions for our offense, through motions, through formationally, to create those advantages, those angles that we want to have so we can pop those runs, and then in the passing game, we're going to have to take some more shots down the field to be able to create those explosive plays.
Hampton will be sponsored by your local Chevy dealers, ChevyDriveChicago.com. Yeah, it didn't take him too long. It's week 14. I mean, no big deal right there. Matt Eberflus talking about using the entire field, stretching things out a little bit. I think we've been talking about that since week 8 of last year.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I just want to make here, we've got 5 games left now? 5 games left, and obviously Detroit here. You know what, Eberflus, you better play your top players, okay, on both sides of the ball. And when I talked a lot about the last time we played Detroit like 3 weeks ago, and with our guy Sweat, the $100 million man. And the following week, they played Minnesota, okay? And in the red zone, on third down in the red zone, again, guess what, folks? There were 17 plays by the Vikings. He was in 12 of them. 12 of them. Dan, I want to ask you a question. You played, 12 years?
Mm-hmm.
And without the injuries, but from year to year, did you ever miss a play?
Very seldom.
I went back and I was trying to think over the years, when 11 years I played, about when did I ever miss a game. And I missed a few when I got my legs torn up. But I think I went down something like 7 years and never missed a game.
Yep.
Not a game, and not one play, folks. And I'm not just saying, well, Ed, I'm just telling you facts, okay? We've got guys. We're fighting for our lives from week to week on the field with Eberflus and his gang and his kids. And our top players are on the sidelines, folks. That's my whole point about this. What the hell are they doing on the sidelines? What? They're not even in the game.
Well, in my mind, what it does, it breaks down what you would think would be the integrity of the franchise. There is an inherent belief that you can't win games if you're not playing your best players. So why aren't you playing your best players? And we haven't won anything. Why are your best players? We just talked about Tremaine Edmonds.
This is the story of the Bears this year, Dan.
Well, and hey, we talked at length about the fact that the opening month of the season was a damn shame. It was a waste. We were not prepared at any position. Quarterback, running back, receiver, offensive line, defense, nowhere.
Yes,
zero. The coaches were clowns. The whole thing. Now, you get into a game, a meaningful divisional game. We hadn't won one, and your best player, your highest paid player on the football team is not going to be out there when it's the nut cutting,
on the
portion of the game.
Plays.
Yes. So what it tells me is you've got a bunch of fools running the ship, right? How else can you think something else?
Danny,
if you're not smart enough to figure that out, and I'll tell you this, on our team, you think we'd go into the fourth quarter of a meaningful game when we're down trying to win and Walter wasn't on the field, or Mike Singletary or Richard Dent or Steve McMahon? You don't think it was important? Why can this happen in this day and age with 26 different coaches on the sideline keeping track of everybody? And all of this happening. Now, all that being said, moving on, let's talk about big picture. Now, you said that, again, we talked about this season, it having like 2 overarching purposes. Number one, trying to reclaim some respectability. Do you think this team has done that yet? I don't think so. When you see what we did, with our best players not playing in crunch time, is that respectable? Do you think the Detroit Lions respect this coaching staff when they kind of sift through the wreckage and go, hey, we got to score 2 touchdowns in 4 minutes, and they don't even have their $100 million pass rusher on the field? Do you think that that's impressive to the other coaches around the NFL, OB?
Oh, Christ. Danny, here, these are 8 points I made. 7 of them about the Lions game and 1 about the Viking game. 2 weeks ago, okay? And after every one of the questions, like third down red zone, 9 plays, Sweat was only in 9 of 18 plays in the red zone and third down, the critical plays. And I had the word why with a question mark. That was number 1. You go to number 2, number 3, number 4, and after everything that I wrote down why. Why? And why? The why is, why weren't these top-notch, supposedly defensive players and offensive, why weren't they in the game?
Your high-dollar players.
Why? Okay. I don't know. I can't answer it for you. Dan can't, and I know you people can't. There one person could really answer it for it is Zeberflus, and you know what his answer was? And I said it before, and I'll say it again because it's an unbelievable answer. That's the way that's just the way we do it. Really.
Well, there was a sighting of improvement last week against Minnesota. Remember, against the Detroit Lions, we were saying in crunch time, we're trying to find a way to get a first down, to burn the clock, to protect the lead. Where was DJ Moore? Right, Andy? Mm-hmm. We said it many times. What the hell are you thinking? Where's your best player? Well, they did find him last week on that dig route late in the game that set up the go-ahead field goal. So maybe they're not, as swift as we'd like them to be with their corrections, OB. But we did see a little bit of a correction there on the offensive side of the ball.
Well, I'll tell you what, guys. The Bears, they bring their own problems on themselves. The players do and the coaches do. I mean, the problem is within the organization. It's within. It's not the fans' fault. It's not Detroit Lions' fault. It's not the New York Giants' fault or whoever it is. That whole problem, folks, with the Chicago Bears this season and the past several seasons is within. Everything, all the problems are from within. And it's year after year, and the problems don't get solved. If anybody knows something better, please let me know or let Dan know. It's within. Those are where the problems come from, folks, on both sides of the ball. Plus, the most important thing I believe is the coaches. It's from within, folks. It's nobody else's fault but their own. It falls right on their own heads.
And they continue to allow it to happen in their own backyard. And there's not much, you haven't seen much change in that.
But real quick, we're hard on them because we want them to be not able to win a game or a few games. We want them to be viable. We want them to be a playoff quality organization week in, year in, season after season. All that has to be, all these things have to be corrected.
Dan, the only reason why you play this game is to do what?
To win.
Be the world champion.
Yeah, and win.
We're playing this game to come in 5th in our division or 4th in our division.
Not a chance.
And we'll have a winning record, and that's wonderful. That's the only reason why you play this game, to be a world champion.
But all that being said, can we get on a run? And, this week, Cole Kmet was very optimistic, upbeat at the podium, basically saying, hey, we can get on a run and win all 5 of these games. Now, think about this, folks. The big step is today. But you're at home. You got the Motor City Madmen coming in. Obviously, they won a game they didn't deserve to 3 weeks ago. Take it out on them. Then we go to Cleveland. They're going to be struggling on offense. They're going to have Joe Flacco playing today. So is that doable? Then we're back home against Arizona and Atlanta. Why not? I mean, are you scared of Arizona or Atlanta? And then we go up to Green Bay for the finale. So do you think there's a way they can put 5 wins together, OB? As you're laughing?
I mean, no.
As you're laughing?
Could it happen? Yeah. I mean, Lake Michigan could dry up also. There's a lot of things could happen.
Let's give you an update on the injuries real quick here, too. EQ St. Brown is out for today's game because of a pectoral injury, so a good blocking wide receiver is out today.
Unbelievable.
Tyler Scott, Velus Jones, and Yannick Ngakwe are all off of the inactive list, so they're active and should play today.
Velus Jones,
he was a little ill after making
exciting.
Everybody else ill, watching him receive punts and things of that nature. He'll be out there today. Nathan Peterman designated as the third quarterback. So that's the core that at least Justin Fields will have to deal with as far as the wide receivers go here this afternoon against the Detroit Lions at Soldier Field.
And let me just say this, and I know, we're not the biggest fans of Justin Fields on a week-to-week basis, but I went back and watched that game last week, the blitzkrieg that the Vikings brought on defense, the first 3 series. It was extraordinary how well Fields stayed alive and found ways to scrap around and make some plays. I expect the Detroit Lions to do the very, very same thing today, trying to get out of the box really quick, forcing mistakes. We know about the 2 fumbles in the fourth quarter. They're trying to see if they can make Justin Fields make the mistakes. I say he doesn't. I think today he has a pretty darn good game. We find a way to win.
Well, you know what? We're playing at home, and it's about time somebody in this coaching staff and these guys wake up a little bit. Throw all caution to the wind, Dan. I mean, enough is enough, okay? We haven't won since '85. It's year after year of stumbling, bumbling, fumbling, and mumbling around. You get a little bit sick and tired of it, all right? Why don't you guys just shut your damn mouths? And I mean you too, coaches and players, and go out there and play for 60 minutes and act and go through like you know what the hell you're doing, instead of getting it shoved down your throats from week to week. Take care of business right now, today against the Lions. Get it done. You can do it if you believe in it.
Hampton will be sponsored by your local Chevy dealers, ChevyDriveChicago.com. Put a Chevy Silverado in your toolbox. A big thanks to Rosebud Restaurants for the fantastic game day meals they've been providing all season long. The Chicago staple serves up century-old recipes at each of their 8 locations. Experience the iconic Rosebud on Taylor Street.
Holiday sale.
Be consistent. I think that's the biggest thing. Play good one game, play bad the other. So I think me personally just trying to be consistent, trying to be better than I was yesterday. So just trying to continually improve, get better as a person and a player, better myself each and every day.
Quarterback Justin Fields talking about the next 5 weeks. Hampton will be sponsored by your local Chevy dealers, ChevyDriveChicago.com. As we work our way towards kickoff, it's a noon kickoff at Soldier Field, the Bears and the Lions. The Bears are actually trying to put together back-to-back division wins for the first time since 2019. That was 4 years ago. And they're trying to put together back-to-back wins of any kind since weeks 16 and 17 of the 2021 season. That's a couple of years ago. So it hasn't been one of those kind of things where they win a game and then you win again. It's been kind of up and down most of the last 4 or 5 seasons.
Well, you know what, Andy, I don't, there comes a time here, we're going in, the last 5 games of the season here, and, it's enough with the excuses by the coaches and by the players. It's about time, take care of business. My God, take it like you don't know if it's 3rd down and 8 or 3rd down and 2 like we've done so many times. And what play did they come up? The slip screen or the bubble screen, which the play is horizontal, folks. Okay, if it's 3rd down and 2, you're going horizontal. And most of the time that blows up in our face, which it did the last couple of 2-3 weeks. And I for the life of me, I don't know where, how, or whatever Getsy, our offensive coordinator, comes up with these things. The slants. We should have been throwing the slants all year long. It's wide open for us. We don't do it. Watch every other team. Just watch Green Bay. In almost every series, there's a slant or 2. Play action. Throwing the ball downfield. Your running game. And then go to the play action. Sprint outs. Move the pocket. All the things that should have been done with our quarterback Fields, we don't do. Move the kid out of the pocket. He's not a pocket passer. He struggles back there. There's things that can be done, folks. And this isn't an I think. I'm telling you, move that pocket. When we run the football, we're a pretty good running football team. Then that's all set up, folks, for the play action. It's all set up. Play action, drop back. Play action, bootleg, strong side, weak side, play action, bootlegs. It's there for you. How many times do you see it? Next to never. And it's a great play. It's a great way to move the ball. Great way to convert on third down. Great way to score touchdowns. All you have to do is look at our own divisions and watch Green Bay. It used to be with Aaron Rodgers. That's exactly what he did game after game, year after year. They won a Super Bowl. They usually won our division. He's probably one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game. But look at how the game plan was set up for him. Move him. He would bootleg. He would sprint out. What do? We just have our quarterback with designated runs. We need 20 yards. Don't throw the ball. It might happen. It might work. No, what we'll do, Getsy sends in a bootleg run for our quarterback. Runs to the weak side, runs to the strong side. And what have I told you? Almost, this is going in the third year with this kid. He runs and runs, and he's going to get cranked. He's going to get hurt. He hasn't completed. This is his third year. He has not completed a season yet, folks. Am I correct on that,
You
Andy?
are very correct on that.
He has not completed a season. Why? Running a football. And what does Getsy do? Sometimes, and we're losing, and it's in the fourth quarter. What plays is Getsy calling? He's calling designated running plays for our quarterback. We've got Khalil Herbert, who's more than a quality running back. My God, we got people that can run the football. Let's get somebody that can throw the football. Let's get somebody that can devise an offensive game plan where we can utilize the entire field, 53 yards wide and 100 yards long. Utilize it, work it, make it happen. And you don't do it. What do? Designated plays late in the fourth quarter. How many times, Andy?
Many.
I come flying out of the chair.
Yes, he does.
They called for a designated run. And we're losing.
Yeah, and that's the frustrating thing. I mean, I'm talking to a lot of fans. They say, okay, if I can figure this out sitting in my living room watching this game on TV, why aren't these guys on the sidelines on the same page and understand that this is the NFL these days? And they're not doing it because everybody else is doing it and the Bears aren't.
That's right, Andy. And folks, the most important position, you have 53 players, okay? We have what now, 26 coaches or 25. A couple of them have been bounced for whatever the hell they were doing. But anyways, I just lost my train of thought there, Andy.
That's all right. Yeah, we were just speaking to the fact that it seems as though these guys are just so set in their ways that they have no ability to – we haven't seen many halftime adjustments. We haven't seen many game plan adjustments. And it's frustrating to sit there and watch. And I know watching with you and Hamp, just trying to understand what they're doing.
Well, you know what? It's obvious to me. I don't know what kind of a game plan that you do. You got one guy that's the focal point on your team, folks. Again, the 53 players. There's only one player, folks, that is a difference maker. There's only one. That's the quarterback. Okay? It's not your right offensive tackle, your left guard, your center. It's not a strong side safety. It's not a wide out receiver or a tight end. It's the quarterback. All things being equal, he is the only one that could take your team and elevate them up to the next level. And you've seen it, and if you people have been watching football for quite a while, you just look at the quarterbacks. Just look at the quarterbacks and who they are. Aaron Rodgers, my God, you just go on and on and on. And those are the people that take the team, put them on their shoulders, and elevate the game and to victory. We do not have that. Why? We have 4 wins and 8 losses. Last year, we had 3 wins and 14 losses. The year before, Andy, I don't know how many, but it was just god-awful. But I'll tell you what, folks, we don't have a franchise quarterback. We just don't. I just stated. That's why you have a franchise quarterback, you will win football games. You don't, you're not going to win.
All right, Bears and Lions coming up. Hampton will be sponsored by your local Chevy dealer, ChevyDriveChicago.com. Put a Chevy Silverado in your toolbox.
Lions are going to bring an extra man. Fields climbing the pocket. And there's that athleticism from Justin Fields into Detroit territory. He pops up into Kirby Joseph. They make sure they're all right. And Justin Fields have been great. It's been later in the game that they have tried to figure it out. Nice run by Foreman. He's got the first down and he lunges towards the 30. 13-yard pickup for Deontay Foreman. It's been running back by committee and then Fields when he's been in there. Fields keeps it, plenty of space. Justin Fields a first down on the ground. He's going to line up wide. DJ Moore has only run the ball one time this year. He's going to fake it to Fields and run it for a second time this year, and he's into the end zone. They get the snap off. Goff into a tight window for Sam Laporta, and in a season where he's had better than 60 catches, 65 of them, that was one of his best of the year. DJ Moore, two of the best in terms of contested catches in the NFL this year. Bears bring a blitz, and they get to Goff. It's Yannick Ngakoue. Lions trying to generate a pass rush here. Hutchinson at the bottom against Darnell Wright. Fields somehow escapes. Still on his feet. Justin Fields making some magic happen out to the 30-yard line.
He's got a better feel for that right now.
Fields loads up. Oh, wow. I don't know how that ball got into Darnell Mooney. To the 31-yard line. I thought that was going to be a pick for Cam Sutton. Here they come. Extra man for Detroit. And they got to Fields that time. Jalen Reeves-Maybin in his 100th NFL game has his first full sack as an NFL player.
Sliding that way, you come from the opposite side and create that pressure.
Cairo Santos was the special teams player of the month of November in the NFC.
Big Penei Sewell over to the opposite side and get unbalanced right here.
And they flip the line a little bit. Sewell, usually the right tackle, is working off the left, and Gibbs goes to the right and bursts through behind Dan Skipper instead. It's on the cusp of his range. Pressure coming from the Bears, so Goff throws it quickly to Gibbs, who could not hold on. By the fourth down, this is at the edge of Patterson's range, so they're going for it on fourth down and 10. And Goff is picked up by Jalen Johnson. Still on his feet, lost the football, but it's out of bounds. There's also a flag down. Fake to Herbert. Fields finds a man. It's Cole Kmet with plenty of space, and they get out from their own 15-yard line and get into Detroit territory with one fell swoop. Or a pitch. And it's DJ Moore who gets the pitch. And Detroit gets the stop.
Get yourself a first down and continue to control and dominate the line of scrimmage. Now you give Detroit a chance to get back in this game.
And go back to what they do very well, and that's run the football. Just a four-man rush. Goff has time, and he connects for the first down. It's caught. Excellent job by Donovan Peoples-Jones. Little flip. Here comes Gibbs. First down, and a touchdown as he moves past Jackson. And the Lions are on the board. Heard Christina Pink give us that report. Although here, no good on the extra point from Jack Fox. Or Riley Patterson, beg your pardon. Boy, they are really bracketing Aiden Hutchinson. He's trying to catch up to Justin. He never gave up on that play. They had two guys on Aiden Hutchinson. Third and long, just a four-man rush, and it gets to Fields. Hutchinson got to Fields that time. Third and short. Goff over the middle, and it's caught. First down, Sam Laporta. And they swing it out to Gibbs. Slips away from Edmonds. He's got the first down. And now Chicago cannot stop the clock. Goff, end zone shot, easy for Josh Reynolds. Lions with an extra man. Fields looking up top for DJ Moore. He's got it for a first down.
Me? What are you? Is it me there? Is it on me?
Pressure coming from the Lions. Fields with time, gets rid of it, and it's caught by the rookie Tyler Scott, and he's got the first down. Play on third and goal. Fields looking, Nothing downfield. Now delivers back of the end zone, incomplete. Well, that's been the story for the Bears too often this year, settling for field goals when they get this deep.
Back end together with the front end really does a great job with that.
Goff stepping up, low throw, incomplete. A third straight 3 and out.
It's the details that catch the Bears.
Fields, tough throw, contested attempt, and Cole Kmet beats Alex Anzalone for the catch and first down.
Long term, if that's the style of your offense.
Pressure coming. Justin Fields lost the football. It is grabbed by Darnell Wright. He's hit by Kaminsky and brought down by Barnes. And he got the jump. It's a free play. Fields for more. Got him! Touchdown! Bears lead!
This Burns Jacobs for the touchdown.
That is blocked. The extra point is blocked. It was Romeo Okwara who got a piece of it. And here comes the cavalry. Big Benito Jones was running it back, trying to pick up a point. He's on the left in that unbalanced look. Oh, a fumble on the snap. Loose on the deck. Bears are claiming they've got it. And it is ruled Chicago football. Number 264 today. Fields floating it for Foreman with a nice over-the-shoulder catch. Tried the leap, and Cam Sutton was there to bring him down. Fields rolling out. Justin Fields, his eyes are on the end zone. He's in. Touchdown, Bears.
In the first matchup between the two teams.
Fake it to Foreman. Fields under pressure. Throwing to the end zone, and it's incomplete for Moore, so it remains. Well, you said it, Mark. It was a lot like the last game. On 3rd and long. Goff fires to the sticks. It's caught by Reynolds, but he ran back behind the line to gain. The Bears trying to recreate something of that sort. 3rd and 6. Pressure coming. Fields gets rid of it, and DJ Moore snatches it in front of Vildor out of the air for the first down. Fake it to Foreman. Fields loads it up. And somehow DJ Moore comes flying into the screen.
That he has to work on, but boy, I'll tell you what, he's been pretty good so far today.
3rd and 2. Fields looking for Mooney, and he cannot hold on. Tough throw, tough catch attempt. Santos right through again. So they'll go right back to the ground. Jump cut Montgomery, and Jackson brings him down inside the Bears' 45-yard line. 4-man rush. It's Montgomery trying to get away, and he stumbles ahead for the first down. What an effort by David Montgomery. Probably should have been down from Tremaine Edmonds, and instead outruns the Bears defense for 10. Goff under pressure, and he's wrapped up and brought down. It is Gervon Dexter Sr. It is the first NFL sack for the rookie out of Florida. Goff down the middle, and it's incomplete for St. Brown as well. They got to get the stop here, and they will on Johnson. So now the clock inside of 4:20. 28-13, Bears lead it. 3.5 remains. Goff. Oh, what a catch by Reynolds. Jaquan Brisker was in the area, and a twisting Reynolds, who has a touchdown today, was able to spin away for 27. For Goff in that relationship with his receivers today. Goff under pressure. Down he goes again. This time, it's the Walter Payton Man of the Year nominee, Justin Jones. Warning.
The best formation in football right here, victory formation. It's our nickname of our producer in high school, victory formation.
Look at the relief.
Yes.
Look at the relief on that man's face. First time winning back-to-back games as Bears head coach. And they are now 5-4 in their last 9.
One thing about him, man, he has been so steady with his football team. They respect him so much as the head coach.
And out. And why? Because he runs with the football. We've got to get involved in the passing game. My God, we've got some tremendous receivers. They can get open, get separation. They've got speed. They've got great hands. That's what should be utilized from game to game. The next 4 games, utilize them. Utilize them.
Now, all that is true, and you can't make a living on running your quarterback in this league. We know that.
Danny's going to get cranked.
Well, he ran 12 times today, 58 yards. All that being said,
he was our leading rusher.
That's way too much exposure. But having success, being able to operate within the parameters of the offense, and we saw him time and time again today, make some big plays, big-time throws, big-time reads, getting the ball, all those different things. He has made so much progress this year. And it's not over. The year ain't over. We got, 4 more games? Mm-hmm. And, again, you got to tip the cap. He has stayed the course. And, yeah, he got cranked early, and he was holding his shoulder. But you got to just pat the kid on the back and say, hey, he's tough. He knows he's going to take a licking, but he gets up and goes back to the huddle, and he makes some plays.
And then, you know what? They won, and he threw some good passes. But he also threw some passes that were, I don't know in what zip code they were in. And that's another one of his problems is his accuracy. You know it. I know it, Dan. A lot of people know it. That's one of his major problems, let alone the ability to read defenses. But today, it worked. He made it through the game. He basically didn't miss a play, so to speak, and he threw some good balls, and we beat the team that's leading our division at home in front of the Bear fans, and what a nice victory. It was just a nice victory, and again, I'll go back, Danny. The turning point in this game, if there was such a thing, was the third quarter. The Bears came out after halftime, and I'll tell you what, they looked and they acted and they went about like they knew what they were doing. A winning team, and that's what they did in the third quarter.
First back-to-back win since week 16 and 17 of the 2021 season. So that number is behind us, thankfully.
But you know what? Yeah, winning is everything. Mm-hmm. But beating certain, the way the division has kind of shook out with Aaron Rodgers leaving, Minnesota having issues at quarterback. Detroit was, the 800-pound bully, and not only should we beat them there, but we did finally avenge the loss and get it done here today. I'm just telling you, confidence is a huge, huge deal in the NFL, and knowing what you can, accomplish and what you're capable of. Today, they did a lot of good stuff they can draw on down the stretch.
Think you can, and you will.
Yeah, when you look at that defense, especially in the third quarter, guys, both of you obviously very stellar defensive players yourselves, looking around the way that they were backing each other up and Dexter Gervon getting in there with Montez Sweat, there seemed to be a lot of continuity going on there and a whole lot of rooting for each other and a whole lot of what you're talking about, being contagious with the fact that making big plays is contagious.
Earlier today,
that's what this game's about.
Yeah, OB made the comment that the quarterback is the difference maker. Okay, there's no question. He is the single-handed, focal point of this game. The
Danny,
NFL.
He's the only one that can elevate it. Yeah, he's the only one.
But
a tight end can't do it. Our defensive tackle can't do it. He is the only one, and you see it throughout the league. All the great quarterbacks, they're the ones that take the team to that unbelievable level.
Yes, but there has been a little bit of a hidden hand factor of Montez Sweat. Since the day they signed him, brought him in, the defensive line has responded. Now, are they the best in the league? No. Are they doomsday defense? No. Are they the 85? No. But today, they were the superior group on the field of the offense, defensive line, both sides. Our defensive line played better than any other facet of both teams. And
Dan, how about that's time? How about?
No kidding.
How about that, okay?
Yeah, and Godway got a sack.
With 5 games to go, and they finally show up and act like they know what the hell they're doing. It's about, I'm going to tell you, Danny, I love you. And it's whatever, and I agree with your call. They came today, especially in the second half. And it started in the third quarter. But to put them on some kind of a pedestal, that defensive line, or Montez Sweat, absolutely not. Absolutely not. You got to go from quarter to quarter, let alone play to play, from game to game, before you be a champion. And right now, we are not there, Danny.
I agree.
And Sweat. And
but how much better is it than it was in September?
I'll tell you what. Fine, I'll give him today. That was great. Let's see you follow it up the following week, and the last game up in Green Bay. I ain't going to put him on any kind of a pedestal because it's been pretty pathetic pretty much all year long.
3 sacks today for the Bears. And again, Montez Sweat got in on one of those, as did Dexter Gervon Jr. or Senior. Excuse me, Dexter Gervon Sr. got in on that one as well. 312-981-7200. That is our phone number. We're going to get to your phone calls coming up after the news. Hampton will be sponsored by your local Chevy dealers at ChevyDriveChicago.com. Let's get into that WGN Radio Newsroom.
It's John Landecker. WGN sounds great on the WGN app. Download it now. Make us the first button on your digital dashboard. See how at WGNRadio.com.
It's 35 degrees under cloudy skies at 3:30. Good afternoon, I'm Ron Brown. The news is sponsored by News Nation. Donald Trump has reversed course, now saying he won't take the stand tomorrow. We'll have the latest on that. First, quick look at sports, as you heard right here on 720 WGN and WGNRadio.com.
Got to get involved in the passing game. My God, we've got some tremendous receivers. They can get open, get separation. They've got speed. They've got great hands. That's what should be utilized from game to game. The next 4 games, utilize them. Utilize them.
Now, all that is true, and you can't make a living on running your quarterback in this league. We know that.
Danny's going to get cranked.
Well, he ran 12 times today, 58 yards. All that being said,
he was our leading rusher.
That's way too much exposure. But having success, being able to operate within the parameters of the offense, and we saw him time and time again today, make some big plays, big-time throws, big-time reads, getting the ball, all those different things. He has made so much progress this year. And it's not over. The year ain't over. We got, 4 more games? Mm-hmm. And, again, you got to tip the cap. He has stayed the course. And, yeah, he got cranked early, and he was holding his shoulder. But you got to just pat the kid on the back and say, hey, he's tough. He knows he's going to take a licking, but he gets up and goes back to the huddle, and he makes some plays.
And then, you know what? They won, and he threw some good passes. But he also threw some passes that were, I don't know in what zip code they were in. And that's another one of his problems is his accuracy. You know it. I know it, Dan. A lot of people know it. That's one of his major problems, let alone the ability to read defenses. But today, it worked. He made it through the game. He basically didn't miss a play, so to speak, and he threw some good balls, and we beat the team that's leading our division at home in front of the Bear fans, and what a nice victory. It was just a nice victory, and again, I'll go back, Danny. The turning point in this game, if there was such a thing, was the third quarter. The Bears came out after halftime, and I'll tell you what, they looked and they acted and they went about like they knew what they were doing. A winning team, and that's what they did in the third quarter.
First back-to-back win since week 16 and 17 of the 2021 season. So that number is behind us, thankfully.
But you know what? Yeah, winning is everything. Mm-hmm. But beating certain.
Oh yeah.
You know the way the division has kind of shook out with Aaron Rodgers leaving, Minnesota having issues at quarterback. Detroit was the 800-pound bully, and not only should we beat them there, but we did finally avenge the loss and get it done here today. I'm just telling you, confidence is a huge, huge deal in the NFL, and knowing what you can, accomplish and what you're capable of. Today, they did a lot of good stuff they can draw on down the stretch.
Think you can, and you will.
Yeah, when you look at that defense, especially in the third quarter, guys, both of you obviously very stellar defensive players yourselves, looking around the way that they were backing each other up, and Dexter Gervon getting in there with Montez Sweat, there seemed to be a lot of continuity going on there and a whole lot of rooting for each other and a whole lot of what you're talking about, being contagious with the fact that making big plays is contagious.
Earlier today,
that's what this game's about.
Yeah, OB made the comment that the quarterback is the difference maker. Okay, there's no question. He is the single-handed, focal point of this game. The
Danny,
NFL.
he's the only one that can elevate it.
Yeah, well,
he's the only one.
But a
tight end can't do it. Our defensive tackle can't do it. He is the only one, and you see it throughout the league. All the great quarterbacks, they're the ones that take the team to that unbelievable level.
Yes, but there has been a little bit of a hidden hand factor of Montez Sweat. Since the day they signed him, brought him in, the defensive line has responded. Now, are they the best in the league? No. Are they doomsday defense? No. Are they the 85? No. But today, they were the superior group on the field of the offense, defensive line, both sides. Our defensive line played better than any other facet of both teams. And
Dan, how about that's time? How about?
No kidding.
How about that, okay?
Yeah, and Godway got a sack.
With 5 games to go, and they finally show up and act like they know what the hell they're doing. It's about, I'm going to tell you, Danny, I love you, and it's whatever, and I agree with your call. They came today, especially in the second half, and it started in the third quarter. But to put them on some kind of a pedestal, that defensive line or Montez Sweat, absolutely not. Absolutely not. You got to go from quarter to quarter, let alone play to play, from game to game, before you be a champion. And right now, we are not there, Danny.
I agree.
And Sweat. And
but how much better is it than it was in September?
I'll tell you what. Fine, I'll give them today. That was great. Let's see you follow it up the following week, and the last game up in Green Bay. I ain't going to put them on any kind of a pedestal because it's been pretty pathetic pretty much all year long.
3 sacks today for the Bears. And again, Montez Sweat got in on one of those, as did Dexter Gervon Jr. Dexter Gervon Sr. got in on that one as well. 312-981-7200. That is our phone number. We're going to get to your phone calls coming up after the news. Hampton will be sponsored by your local Chevy dealers at ChevyDriveChicago.com. Let's get into that WGN Radio Newsroom.
It's John Landecker. WGN sounds great on the WGN app. Download it now. Make us the first button on your digital dashboard. See how at WGNradio.com.
It's 35 degrees under cloudy skies at 3:30. Good afternoon, I'm Ron Brown. The news is sponsored by News Nation. Donald Trump has reversed course, now saying he won't take the stand tomorrow. We'll have the latest on that. First, quick look at sports, as you heard right here on 720 WGN and WGNradio.com.
It's on the phone. Dave, thanks for listening to the show today.
Thank you for making my day go fast, because I listen to you when I get up in the morning, when I drive. I listen to you all the time.
Thank you. You've got some friends here.
720.
Absolutely.
Weekdays 2 to 6 on WGN. Chevy dealers, Dan Hampton's defensive player of the game.
Bears bring a blitz, and they get to Goff. It's Yannick Ngakoue, his 4th of the season, and the Bears, who are dead last in the NFL in sacks, get one on 3rd down. Goff is picked up by Jalen Johnson.
And time now for Dan Hampton's defensive player of the game, sponsored by your local Chevy dealers and the Chevy Silverado, official truck partner of the Chicago Bears. We were talking a little bit about him before we broke for the news, but Montez Sweat, your guy.
Yeah, and again, he had a sack, a couple of pass defenses, and on 2 4th and short, he was a big factor in stopping the Lion offense. So congrats to him. But it was. And we've talked about this, OB. Yeah, they're not the purple people eaters or nothing, but they're playing a lot better. They control the line of scrimmage today. Detroit had no answers for.
Hampton will be sponsored by your local Chevy dealer, ChevyDriveChicago.com, 312-981-7200. That is our phone number. Let's get out to the phones, and we'll find out what the fans are thinking about a win after the Bears get by the Detroit Lions today. Let's start off with Mike out in Colorado. Mike, you're up with Hampton OB. Go right ahead.
Thanks. Great win, guys. I love watching that defense play. I'm a defensive guy. I'm just curious if the defense keeps being on a roll like they are, do you guys have any concern what happens with the coaching staff, particularly Matt Eberflus. If this defense keeps playing like they are, gets the pass rush going a little bit more, maybe win 2-3 more games, I think that brings up a big question. What do you do with Matt Eberflus? Like to hear what your guys' comments are on that. And also, Andy, I don't want to push the envelope, but when's the last time we won 3 in a row? Thanks a lot.
All right, we'll put our staff on that. Thanks, Mike. Thanks for challenging us. We appreciate it.
For winning 2 in a row, we got to go back to the year 2021.
Correct. The end of the pretty much the end of the season that year.
And so that's been a long, humiliating dry spell, and that's been busted loose, and that's kind of nice to hear and kind of nice to see. But we've got 4 more games, and it's one game at a time. And as far as Eberflus goes, he's going to have to be, and his offensive and defensive coordinators are going to have to come up with the games plans of their life for this outfit to bring them back next year. I know we won today, okay? That's our 4th win, 5th win? That's our 5th win with 8 losses, 3 wins last year. If we drop another 2 or 3 games with these 4 games to go, it's going to be awfully difficult to make a case for Eberflus and his staff. I truly believe that, Dan. And there somewhere, you got to stop the bleeding somewhere. And if it continues here in the next 4 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever it is, a move has to be made.
Well, obviously, again, if the season ended today, there would be a lot of reasons to retain him, and there'd be a lot of reasons to say we're going to move on and try something else. So your point about the next 4 games, yeah, it. How many times in your life do you have a month to kind of decide your fate? And that's what not only Justin Fields, but this entire coaching staff, they have been given. It's an opportunity to control your destiny. Let's see what they do. But I will tell you this. A month ago, he was a dead man walking. And somehow, some way, he's been able to find some kind of a vibe with this team. And think about this. And I know
Danny, it's also the schedule that we have and the quality of teams that we played.
I got it.
This was a quality team today, but
yes,
come on.
But we outplayed them 3 weeks ago. No question. Oh, we lost it.
We lost the game, Dan.
We lost it. I got it. But if you did a coaching matchup, would you say that in the 2 games, who was the better coach? I would think it would be
Dan Campbell
Eberflus.
Was when he won it, and what?
I think Eberflus
I'm giving you the answer.
I think Eberflus has been better.
He was better today, and their coaching staff was better than Dan Campbell and from the Detroit Lions and his coaching staff today.
Okay.
They weren't before. You want to know why? Because they lost, Dan.
I got it, but he won today. We led the game for 56 minutes.
Give him credit for it.
So my point being is, you're talking about that guy being the goods, and in my mind, I thought Eberflus, outcoached him in the 2 matchups. Yeah, we fell apart at the end of the game. I got it. But my point is, what about the Minnesota game 2 weeks ago, where we found a way to win on the road without scoring a touchdown?
With a quarterback that's been since last year been with 7 different teams.
I got it. But how many games did we play with the kids that never played?
I keep giving you answers.
Hey, Tyson Bagent was a free agent from nowhere, and we won 2 out of 4 games with him. I'm just saying, before you discount what Eberflus has been able to accomplish this last month and a half, kind of have to look around. Think about this.
The season isn't a month and a half long, Dan.
I got it.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about...
We just got our 5th win. He won 3 games last year. We just got our 5th win with 4 more games to go in the schedule. And this guy's the greatest coach in Bear history?
I didn't say that.
Well, you're alluding to it.
No, I'm saying that the powers to be, Kevin Warren and Ryan Poles, they're going to be the ones that decide his fate. Now, what he has amassed the last month and a half, and we sat here and screamed bloody murder at how pathetic they were in September and most of October. And that was all on Eberflus and Getsy. It was on them. And then they fired the defensive coordinator. Eberflus took over the defense, found some things, started, making a few adjustments, got Montez Sweat, and now the defense is playing 3 times better than it was in September. So last year at the end of the year, I said, who on this team is a better player today than they were September 1st? And we couldn't come up with anybody. Maybe Cole Kmet. Maybe. Well, I can see a lot of progress in a lot of areas. That's all I'm saying, and that's what he will be graded on.
312-981-7200. Let's go out to Wilmington and say hi to Bear Boy. Bear Boy, you're up with Hampton OB. Go ahead.
Things are looking great for the Bears again. I'm Bear Boy again, I hope. The Bears are showing life, and there's talk about the Bears maybe really. What are your thoughts on the Bears relocating just south of Soldier Field and in Chicago? Revitalizing Chicago's there, the whole thing of Chicago. This team, if they play like this, they're bound for big time things, and they're doing good. Just let's play good, sir. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, Bear Boy. Appreciate that. Yeah, they were talking about maybe a stadium being built in the south parking lot rather than Arlington Heights and things of that nature.
I think OB and I have the same belief about this. Yeah. We'll worry about a stadium after you build a team. Build the team first, and then they can handle the stadium. What do you think, OB?
Absolutely. There's why do people come on a Sunday afternoon? Why do they come? They come to watch the Chicago Bears. Guy by the name of George Halas started this team, basically started the National Football League. Why wouldn't you love the Bears, and why wouldn't you have pride in them? I know there's some bads. As a matter of fact, we've had some lousy teams ever since when you retired, Dan. It's been god-awful. What have we had? I remember Green Bay had 2 quarterbacks in how many years, and what we have? We went through 38 quarterbacks.
Something like that.
To their
close,
2,
yes.
and it's been horrible.
It's been a 30-year reign of terror.
But the fans still keep coming. They still love the Bears. And if they want to moan and groan and say whatever they want, that's their prerogative. They damn well can. They can come on this radio station with you and I. If they want to let it go, let it go. I don't care. Just don't care.
28-13. We care about this. The Bears beat the Lions this afternoon at Soldier Field, and we'll take more of your phone calls in just a moment. If you're on hold, please stay there. 312-981-7200.
I'm just talking about the fans.
I know.
I don't care what they say.
I know.
Win, lose, or draw. They're the ones that make it go.
Exactly right. And today we win, didn't lose, and didn't draw. 28-13 is the final. Bears over the Lions. Hampton OB, sponsored by your local Chevy dealer, ChevyDriveChicago.com. Put a Chevy Silverado in your toolbox. Take your money and your mileage farther with Mariano's. Save up to $2 per gallon when you redeem up to 2,000 fuel points per fill at Mariano's fuel centers and participating BP and Amoco stations. Earn fuel points to fill up your car when you shop Mariano's for groceries, gift cards, and fill prescriptions. This double savings fuel points offer is connected to your Mariano's rewards card and is taking place for a limited time. Get topped off on all the details when you visit Marianos.com/fuel. Take your money and your mileage farther when you shop Mariano's. Use up to 2,000 fuel points per fill. Save up to $2 per gallon at Mariano's fuel centers and participating BP and Amoco stations.
WGN. It's 4 carries for Fields and 2 passes. He's going to line up wide. DJ Moore has only run the ball 1 time this year. He's going to fake it to Fields and run it for a second time this year, and he's into the end zone. His first career rushing touchdown in the NFL on his 41st career carry.
Little trickeration right there, courtesy of Fox Sports. Hampton OB is sponsored by your local Chevy dealers, ChevyDriveChicago.com. That all part of a 28-13 win by the Bears today over the Detroit Lions.
You know what, Andy and Dan? The one thing that I don't want to see in any victory or any defeat, I don't want to see our quarterback be the leading rusher in carries and in yardage. I just don't want it. I want him to be number 1 in passing. That's what I want our quarterback to do. I don't, again, want him in the number of carries, the leading number of carries, and leading in yardage. Our quarterback, Danny, again, I've said it till the cows come home, whatever have you. I'm going to tell you, he's been hurt every year since he's been here, and we got 4 more games to go. And Getsy had him starting out the game. He started out the game with a designated run. I'm telling you, this kid's going to go down again. It's going to happen sooner or later. You can't run a quarterback 3, 4, 5, 6 times, 7, 8, 10 in a game. He's going to get cranked.
It's the run conundrum, and we're going to see it the next month. I'm just telling you, Justin Fields and Luke Getsy, they're playing for their careers, playing for their future. We're going to see it, but I agree with you. I'd much rather see him with 35 attempts and 3 runs. It'd be a lot better.
And throwing for 200 and some plus yards.
Yeah. It's the slow play right now. Let's go out to John in Fox Lake. John, you're up here with Hampton OB. Go ahead, bud.
Gentlemen, this coaching staff has to go. This game was almost deja vu in the fourth quarter. We were in the red zone. This coaching staff has got to know when to stick the dagger and put a team away. 4th and 2, and we elect for a field goal and create drama a little bit in the end. We can't come up with a play to run out the clock a little bit more, get that first down, and maybe score a touchdown, and then tell Detroit, good night, game over. Instead, we just play it conservatively and go for the field goal. I'm sorry. This coaching staff doesn't know when to go conservative, when to call the plays, clock management. They just need to go, guys. Thank you.
John, I agree. We have 3 quality receivers, and we have a running back that can come out of the backfield and catch the football. So we have 4 targeted people that we can go to that are difference makers.
I agree. And you know what? Look, you're preaching from our hymnal in the sense that we believe that this game is not about fair play. It's about destroying the opponent. And if you have a chance where you have momentum, the ball in that end of the field, go for the juggler, as you said. But you know what? Obviously, a lot of the play designs by Luke Getsy, they're just not very good. And obviously, we struggle to have success. What about the 4th and 1.5? And we do the tush-push toss.
Yeah.
Yeah, that didn't work out so good.
I was having flashbacks to Denver, that game, because that's where that game turned on that 4th and 1.
It did. And how much different would everything look if we would have pulled that Denver game out?
It's amazing to think about it.
It would have been 6 and 7. Yep. Things would have been kind of steaming up.
Yep. 312-981-7200. Set out to Tilo Filo in Elgin. You are up with Hampton OB. Go right ahead.
Hello, guys. Love the defensive play on the Bears. They play like they were really hungry for the football. I agree with you, Mr. Dan Hampton. The quarterback shouldn't run, man, because sooner or later, someone's going to take that penalty and take that 15-yard penalty or first down, and they're going to lay him out. I don't think a quarterback should run. Quarterbacks try to read defenses and try to find a guy one-on-one and with the rifle arm, get him. Don't run.
Hey, listen, we are in complete agreement, but what I'm trying to explain is things are different. This is a moment of desperation and effect. Justin Fields is not only playing against the league norm for quarterbacks, but he's also playing against the first-round draft pick that he knows the Bears have. Actually, 2 of them. And at some point, you have to realize, staying in the pocket, throwing the ball 35 times down the field, that would be ideal. But with this offense, this offensive coordinator, the way things are kind of, structured right now, where you're playing some teams that, we think we should win, he's going to take his best avenue for success and winning. And a lot of times that just turns into him running. And we saw it, how many times today?
Well, I'll tell you what we have 3 quality receivers. And I'm telling you, they can play for any team in this league. And we have a running back, Khalil Herbert. He can catch the ball coming out of the backfield. So we have 4 people that are quality football players, quality receivers, a quality runner coming out of the backfield. And how many times do we ever throw to Khalil Herbert? How many times? How about like 0? How about why we don't get him involved in the offensive game plan in the passing game. Why was that possible, Dan?
You know, I'll be the first one to tell you that, you know, this offense it has so many limitations.
We've got the people to make it happen.
He does. And think about 2 years ago or 4 years ago, the actual quality of the skilled people on this offense, we haven't seen anything like this in quite a while.
Yes.
Dante Hightower is a man running the ball. And we know that Khalil Herbert is a threat. And all that.
We don't use them.
And we don't use them. And, okay, you know, and again, we've seen, 4 different times this year, coordinators get fired during the course of the season. Yep. And, you know, if Eberflus has this self-preservation code going, he may want to make some decisions here and just say, hey, you know, but folks, we've won 2 in a row, and this was a win where we scored, 31 points? 28. Yep. I'm just saying, it's kind of hard to throw the offensive coordinator overboard when you win at home and, you know, you beat the division leader.
Well, I disagree with that, Dan. I think it's very easy. You look at what this guy has done since he's been here, it's beyond laughable. It is beyond laughable. The game plans that he's put together, when you have quality people and you don't use them. DJ Moore, when's the first time we targeted him, man?
Third quarter.
In the third quarter, folks. DJ Moore, who is, you talk about a quality receiver with speed, separation. He's got the moves and great hands. And we don't target him until the third quarter? Are you kidding me? This is what I'm talking about, Dan, with this coaching staff. How can you have the receivers we have and the running backs? We don't utilize them in our running back in a passing game to open up the lanes, the avenues. It's all there, folks. Trust Dan and I when we tell you that. It's all there, and we don't use it.
Yeah, of the 19 completions today, 3 were to running backs out of the backfield, and that was it. And one of them was even Kari Blossingame, who was the fullback and doesn't normally catch the ball out of the backfield. The other 2 were to Deontay Foreman. And that was pretty much it.
Yeah, and that one, the blasting game, that was
right to the sideline.
A throwaway throw.
Exactly.
And we're watching the Kansas City over here, the greatest quarterback in the game. Oh, Mahomes. Everything he does is all about the check down to the backs. So go figure. Well, you know, sooner or later we got to figure it out.
That's just what I'm talking about, Dan. Yeah. We don't use our backs, folks. I'm trying to say something here, and I don't know if I'm coming through here, but we got to watch the teams. They utilize their backs in the passing game. Somebody has to be accountable for them. We don't even have plays that we use or we can use in the passing game for our running backs.
312-981-7200, the phone number. If you're on hold, please stay there. We'll get to you right after the news. Hampton will be sponsored by your local Chevy dealer, ChevyDriveChicago.com. Folks, he's back. Longtime sponsor, nationwide agent Jeff Vukovich is back for all your auto, your home, your business needs. Contact Vuk at JeffVuk.com. And remember, Nationwide is on your side.
And drink responsibly. Out of Cairo Santos' range. They're going to line up for a quarterback sneak. Or a pitch. And it's DJ Moore who gets the pitch. And Detroit gets the stop. I don't know why you don't just sneak Justin Fields at that point.
Courtesy of Fox Sports, and despite that, the Bears still got a win, 28-13. We may revisit that play a little bit later on. Time, though, for our game-changing moment, brought to you by the Muller Auto Group, the family dealerships in Hoffman Estates, Gurnee, Highland Park, and Merrillville. The game-changing moment, Jared Goff, the big fumble in that third quarter, and the Bears turn around and score, taking advantage, finally, of a turnover, and Justin Fields ran that one in for 11 yards.
Well, in the prior 2 games, we had 8 turnovers, and we had only scored 13 points. So it was a huge, huge difference in the game. And again, that was a great mistake to capitalize on.
Hampton will be sponsored by your local Chevy dealers at ChevyDriveChicago.com. Put a Chevy Silverado in your toolbox. Let's get back out to the phones. Lots of folks want to comment on today's Bears win, 28-13 over the Detroit Lions. Let's go to Charles in Chicago. Charles, you're up with Hampton OB. Go ahead. Hello, Charles.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you, guys. Hello?
Yep, go ahead.
You guys are the most honest commentators and analysts on radio whenever there's a Bears game. So thank you for that. Could you just comment on the Lions? The Lions were terrible today between their all the not only the fumble and the interception, but things that they did. It was horrible game. And the only reason I'm upset that the Bears won is because I have to listen to other commentators on other stations during the week praise Fields and Eberflus. So thank you. That's it.
Thank you, Charles.
Charles, let me throw a couple stats at you. We beat today, okay, in the National Football League, the Detroit Lions. And here's total net yards. They rank second in the National Football League. Average yards per game, they rank 400. They rank second in the National Football League. Total plays, they rank fourth in the National Football League. Net yards rushing, they rank fourth. It goes on and on. I mean, they're in the top, quarter or whatever have you of the league in running and passing. I mean, and then you take a look where we're at. We're 23rd, we're 20th, we're 32nd, we're 26th, we're whatever. Where Detroit came in here with, I'll tell you, some credentials that are pretty impressive offensive ranking I'm talking about. I mean, when you're ranked second in the league in total net yards and yards per game, you're ranked second. That's pretty darn good. And we took them down. So, again, congratulations to the Bears.
Sometimes it's, you think maybe you're playing not playing down to your competition level, but at the same time, it was interesting because Dan Campbell during the week talked about not being afraid of a revenge type of game. He thought the Bears were playing pretty well at this point of the season.
Well, and again, back to Justin Fields. He made so many different comments about the dimension that Justin Fields would present for their defense and how he can make certain plays that most every quarterback can't do. And, a lot of that is the running, but the other part is evading the rush and finding a way to make something happen in a positive manner, when the play breaks down. And he has a certain dimension that you have to recognize. And I know that the Detroit Lions were very, very aware of that.
I just want to make Charles, what I hope when I read you these stats, I mean, these stats are pretty amazing for running and passing and where they rank in the entire National Football League, and they're leading our division. And we beat them today. I mean, you whether you like them, you don't like them, you don't like the coach, you don't like the quarterback, whether you do one way or the other, they won the game, and they came out after halftime, and that's the big time when you make the adjustments. And the third quarter was the difference in this game. They came out and crushed them, and they stopped the team, Charles, that is ranked second a lot in total yardage, a game, total. I mean, it's unbelievable how they rank, how high they rank, and we took them down.
And a lot of that, in the second quarter, Detroit rushed for like 108 yards or something like that, and we made some good adjustments at halftime. We started slanting the defensive line, and we started owning the line of scrimmage. And as you said, we shut them out.
312-981-7200. We've got about a minute and a half before we get to our next break. RW in Austin, you're up with Hampton OB. Go ahead.
Yeah, good afternoon. After watching today's game, it just seems that the Bears could be 8-5 instead of 5-8, or even better if they had better coaching on both sides of the ball.
I agree.
In the first half, Justin Fields was 4 of 8 for 52 yards. And as you guys astutely mentioned, DJ Moore wasn't even throwing a pass. And they had the ball in the red zone on their second drive. And in the third quarter, no touchdowns. And then they ran that on that 4th and 1 play. They, Getsy again ran that another gimmick play. How many times have we seen that this year with the fake quarterback sneak and the pitch to Moore, which lost yardage? And then on defense, I'll mention that, on that second touchdown by Detroit, that 8-yard slant where the receiver went inside Stevenson and Eddie Jackson was late getting over, Stevenson came off the field, and Eberflus told him, the radio announcer said, you can't give up inside leverage on a play like that. Well, you mean to tell me after, a whole year he doesn't understand that? That's coaching. And how many times have we seen them throw that slant play for a touchdown against the Bears this year with Jackson being late getting over? We really need new coaching staff. Thanks for taking my call.
Well, RW, it's very easy to shut down the slant. All you have to do, and it's a minor adjustment, you have your cornerback come up, and he is 2 yards, maybe 3 yards off. He takes the inside angle away. He shades the inside angle. And soon as the snap, if he want to break with that slant, he's right there to jump the route. That will take it away. The quarterback will look and he'll make an audible and go somewhere else. When he sees that quarterback come up and shade the inside, take the inside away, you will not see the slant.
312-981-7200. It's the phone number, 2813 Bears over the Lions. If you are on hold, please stay there. If not, give us a call, 312-981-7200. Back with more in just a moment. Hampton will be sponsored by your local Chevy dealers at ChevyDriveChicago.com.
Chicago's WGN.
Plus, everyone gets $10 Macy's money for every $50 spent. Now at Macy's. Savings off sale and clearance prices. Exclusions apply.
Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois.
Hot route! Hot route!
Who brought it today? Looking at which Bear played tough, played hard.
3rd and 8. Lions trying to generate a pass rush here. Hutchinson at the bottom against Darnell Wright. Fields somehow escapes. Still on his feet. Justin Fields making some magic happen out to the 30-yard line.
Courtesy of Fox Sports. Who brought it today? Sponsored by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois, the card to bring through it all. Justin Fields is the guy today. And the numbers, 19 of 33, 223 yards, a touchdown. He rushed for 12 carries and 58 yards and one score as well. He got hit a lot today and bounced back and really helped the Bears to this win.
Yes, and no turnovers. That
Big
is
time.
huge. Obviously the defense forced Goff into 2 interceptions, but no turnovers, and he's making some plays.
Well, I'm going to tell you what, Dan. It's happened before. It's going to happen again. Like Andy just mentioned, He got hit an awful lot today, and he kind of hurt his shoulder a little bit, but he stayed in and fought through it. But I'm going to tell you what, folks, you're not going to go here. You got 4 more games to go, and I'm going to tell you, defenses are going to be set up for him, and the kids. And if they keep running that kid and running him, he will go down.
Well, let me tell you,
it's inevitable.
Well, let me tell you this: the Cleveland Browns, who we see this coming Sunday at noon, they have one of the top 2 or 3 defenses in football, and now with Joe Flacco, he threw for over 300 yards today. We're going to have to, be at our very best and hopefully try to find a way to win.
311 yards and 3 touchdowns for Flacco today.
Good for him.
Yep.
And he was sipping in a bar somewhere not long ago,
He
right?
was sipping it, flipping it, and smoothing it.
Flipping it, and smoothing it.
And now he's back in the league. 312-981-7200. Let's go out to Orland Park and say hi to Steve. Steve, you're up with Hampton OB. Go ahead.
Yeah, hi, everybody. I have a personal observation about Eddie Jackson. I think he's the only player in NFL history that never needed his uniform washed or laundered. Today's game, I didn't see the $17 million criminal's body lying on the field, not once. I can't help but wonder how the other players on this team feel about this. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, everybody.
Thank you, Steve. Right back at you.
Way to aptly put it there, Mr. Grinch. And I agree. Early in the year, he was playing so poorly. I was, clamoring for him to be benched. But for whatever reason, they still trot him out there. And again, today, he was $1 short, always late, never around the ball, and avoiding contact at all cost. It's criminal.
It's so obvious. It really is.
We're playing with 10 guys.
Yeah, it looked like he short-armed a couple things, too. I mean, there was an opportunity, I think, on a tip, too, where he tried to dive, and he made it look real awkward.
And to him to make almost $1 million a game.
Yeah. Incredible.
Holy cow.
312-981-7200. Let's go out to Tennessee and welcome in JP. You're up with Hampton OB. Go ahead.
Good evening, guys. You two are my heroes, one from my early youth and one from my later youth. Hey, I want to make a comment on the stadium issue. So they want to build a new stadium right next to the existing one that you can't get to from here. You got to ride a school bus packed full of warm clothes, as opposed to Arlington Park, where you got the rail line that runs right next door. You got a major highway that runs right next door. Come on, McCaskies, get off your pile of gold doubloons and spend some freaking money and do what's right. This is pathetic. I'll hang up now.
Thank you, JP.
Guys comment on that.
Everything you just said is exactly true, and
it makes common sense.
Yeah, and you know what? It is a nightmare to get to that stadium. It's an albatross, no question about it.
Yeah, and the saga continues. I mean, it's not anything that's really been defined as to where they're actually going to go ahead and break ground. I mean, it's still up for debate at this point.
But the one thing that's not up for debate, and it's a very simple statement, it is Chicago, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes, it is.
That's my answer.
Yeah, I got you.
It is Chicago.
I hear you on that.
It?
Yeah, it's not easy to get stadiums built in this town, and yeah, we'll see how that all transpires.
A lot of strange things happen in this city.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Once again, a lot of decisions need to be made. Nobody's making them.
Yeah, 312-981-7200. We've got some open phone lines for you for the first time in our program. 312-981-7200. The Bears beat the Lions today, 28-13. And, it's such a shame. We're talking about Matt Eberflus now in his 30th game. It took the coach 30 games to win back-to-back games. And it's such a shame. I mean, I hate to echo the earlier callers, too, but had this season started out a little bit better with that first game, that we've talked about ad nauseum, that they weren't ready to play in, just how different things could have been. And even the fact that we talked about with the Denver game, one call kind of affected several games after that.
But that's what happens.
No, I get that.
Andy.
Yeah, I get that.
That's exactly what happens from quarter to quarter, game to game. And the thing is, you don't go into a game to play for a tie or lose.
Right.
You got to win the game. I don't care how it comes out. You got to score more points than them. And you only got 17 times to do it. And you damn well better figure it out before your first league game. You got 3 exhibition games. You got all kinds of training camps to get your team ready to go from game one. And this coaching staff did not have this team ready to play in any stretch of anybody's imagination.
Yeah, it's a shame. I mean, what could have been, obviously it's easy to think about revisionist history and say, okay, well, if they were ready and they did this, I mean, it didn't happen.
But think about, I mean, in a minute way, just a play here and there in Tampa. Obviously we're backed up to the goal line. We throw that idiotic middle screen, and they intercept it, and boom, we lose the game. Think about Denver. We are so incapable to even be able to run a decent effort on fourth and maybe a foot and a half.
Yeah.
And if we get that, we win the game. So from top to bottom, the first half of the season was lost for no other reason. Wasn't injuries, wasn't, we had bad luck. It was unprepared in so many different facets. And, hey, think about it. Eberflus firing Williams, that moron defensive coordinator, has been a blessing, him taking over the defense. But all that being said, I think it led to other things where he was incapable of being able to be in a myopic way, able to make sure that you had your best players on the field against Detroit in the final 2 drives.
He didn't.
Yes, because he's so distracted now. He's got to, worry about the defense and all the other things. And so from top to bottom, this season has been a lost cause because of their ineptitude as far as coaching.
Yeah, and the question that you asked earlier too about which players have we seen that have actually improved from week 1 to where we are now?
15.
Yeah, I mean,
I can make a list right now.
We're starting to see it, is what I'm saying, but it's a little late at this point.
Well, a little, way too little, way too late.
Yeah.
Now we, obviously we're in the throes of some miracle stretch where we're going to try and win, the last 6 games of the year. That's hard to do. But remember, Detroit was in the same position a year ago, and they beat the Bears here in Chicago, and they went on a 14-4 run. So is it possible? Yeah, I could say yes, it's possible. Is it doable? We're going to find out.
I don't think our coach is a Dan Campbell in any stretch of any imagination.
Well, I think he was better today coaching, and his game plan and what he was able to do to stop that offense of the Detroit Lions that is statistically in the top 3 or 4 in all of football. He derailed them and shut them out in the second half.
Mr. Hampton, who's leading the North Division?
That would be the Detroit Lions.
Thank you, Dan.
Okay.
Yeah, Lions fall to 9-4.
They got off to a good start. They knew what they were doing in September when we were stumbling around like fools.
Yeah, there was a stat that they flashed up very quickly on the Fox broadcast today about the third quarter being the absolute bugaboo of the Lions. And 9 times out of 10, when we see something like that, the Bears usually end up proving that incorrect. And they go ahead and they play down to that level. Today, they really turned it up.
That was the difference. That whole game, you can point to plays, times, whatever, offense and defense. I'm telling you, it was the third quarter. They came in, the Bears came in, acting and doing like they know what they're doing, actually. And they took charge of it and made it happen.
28-13, Bears win over the Lions. We're going to take a break here for the news. Come back with more of your phone calls.
Next, John and Troy with the puck drop at 6 on the home of the Blackhawks, 720 WGN.
Fields rolling out. Justin Fields. His eyes are on the end zone. He's in. Touchdown Bears.
Courtesy of Fox Sports as the Bears win at 28-13. Over the Detroit Lions. Hampton will be sponsored by your local Chevy dealers, ChevyDriveChicago.com. Good to see a win on the board there for the home fans. And we got a lot of fans waiting to talk to you guys here on our phone line, 312-981-7200. Let's go out to taxi driver Bob, who is listening to us. Hey, go ahead, Bob.
How you doing, guys?
All right, Bob.
Are they keeping you well fed up there tonight?
Oh, yeah.
Always.
You guys sound like you need a good meatball to top off the Bear win. But anyways, I wanted to make a comment about 2 people in general, Justin Fields and Eberflus. Today, I after viewing Justin Fields, he really seemed to have a strong determination in his eyes that he was going to win the game today. He didn't seem unsure of himself. He did make some mistakes, but not that many. I mean, he did overthrow some receivers and whatnot, but he seemed to have a strong determination that he was going to win the game. And after seeing him today, I feel like, maybe we should just give him more of a chance instead of going out and maybe getting Caleb Williams or getting somebody in the draft in place of him. Also, with Matt Eberflus, what, in your opinion, if you were to rate Matt Eberflus and Nagy, who would you say would be better? If the Bears are going to go out and get a new head coach, do we want to go lateral or do we want to go upward? And who would be your choice of upward? I think the one that caught my eye was Benemini, or I always mispronounce his name.
Eric Bieniemy.
Yeah, he seems to be good, but is he going to be better than Eberflus? And so there seems to be a lot of questions as to what the Bears are going to do as far as quarterback and head coach goes, and I wanted to know your guys' ideas on that.
All right, Bob, drive safely. Thanks.
Well, and again, I made the case earlier that guess what? If Eberflus goes 3-1 these next 4 games, I think the Bears probably decided to keep him. All that being said,
I wouldn't bet on that, big man.
Well, I'm just saying, I just know the way the Bears think and how they're ultra conservative. But all that, we've made the contention that on every football team, what you start with in September and to where you end in January, there's a certain path. And is the team better in getting, more capable and competent as you go? And you got to say, yeah. I mean, there's been big progress. Now let's go to Justin Fields. And he made a couple of plays in the first Detroit game that made me think this kid, he learned from his month off watching Tyson Bagent, and you know what? Nobody needs to say, oh well, he did or he didn't. I'm just telling you, a lot of times if you step back and you watch the field and you see how other people play it, then you learn, what may be your best path. And he has improved throughout the last 5-6 weeks. That being said, we're going to find out more in the next month. But today, no turnovers and being, able to make the plays when he was presented the opportunity. Yeah, he overthrew 2 bad passes in I think it was both in the fourth quarter. Yeah, that would be great if he didn't. But I'm watching up here and I'm watching Mahomes throw it in the dirt. Everybody is under duress and they struggle and they don't complete every ball. But all that being said, he has gotten better and better the last month or so.
Well, I might take a little bit of issue with Dan, but Bob, let me tell you something. You know what game was won today? What area was it won? Was it won special teams? Was it done the offense? Was it somebody instrumental? Was it some specific individual on offense? Or was it the defense? I can tell you, the defense is why we won that game. That, to me, in that third quarter, that was game, set, match. The defense played a hell of a game for 4 quarters. In the third quarter, they just shut it down, and they continued in the fourth quarter. And by the way, I just read some stats where the Lions are in the National Football League in running and passing the ball, and they're in the upper quarter. They have some great offensive stats, running and passing. So what I'm telling you is, if Dan likes our quarterback and thinks that he won it, that's fine. If you think that he won it, but I'm telling you why my belief is we won it on defense. Our defense came to play today. They went after them, tooth and nail, and they won the game for us today. The defense, not our offense.
28-13 is the final. Bears over the Lions. Back out to our callers. Let's go back to Chicago, right here in the city. Let's say hi to Spike. Spike, you're up with Hampton OB. Go ahead.
Hey, Hamp, OB, Andy, you're the best. I love listening to you. Everybody in Edgewater at Gino's North Pizzeria loves listening to you. We listen to you all the time.
God bless you. Thank you.
Peace and have a great holiday, please.
You too.
And a Happy New Year.
You too.
Thank you, Spike.
Give me a good go, Spike, OB.
All right,
Spike. Hang on the line a second. We're gonna since you were so nice to us and wished us a very nice and happy holiday, we're gonna get you a $50 gift card to Raising the Stakes, which is sponsored by Second City Prime Steak and Seafood. You can order today at secondcityprime.com. Earlier today on our pregame show.
Yeah, Spike, when you get their food is fabulous. I'm telling you, their meats are unbelievable.
Fantastic. The burgers, boy.
Yes.
We gave away a $100 gift card on our pregame show today because the Bears won the ball game to John Gorzel of Palatine. So congratulations to John. We'll have another $100 gift card available for our fans coming up on our next pregame show, which is next week.
Palatine? Wait a minute. Is that a little home cooking, OB?
Oh, I don't know.
No. For life in a day.
I would never do that. But John, make sure you give me half of that.
All right, back out we go to, let's go to Hot Springs, Arkansas. What do you say? To say hi to Carl. Carl, you're up with Hampton OB. Go ahead.
You betcha. I tell you what, you guys are the greatest, and I just got to make a comment. It just seemed like all season long that the players, they forgot that the GSH is on their uniform, and they need to play better. But I tell you what, George Hallis meant a lot to my granddaddy. His name was Dick Brown. He was from Oklahoma, but he was a locomotive mechanic for the Rock Island Railroad out of Silvis, Illinois. And my granddaddy, he repaired that train that George was taking up to Green Bay. This was in the late 30s. And George Hallis, he always appreciated the working man, because the working man is what made pro football at the start. during the 20s and the 30s, everybody wanted to go to the college games. Well, the working man, he had to work Saturday, but he was off Sunday. And anyway, George Halas always appreciated the working man. And I just wish that the team would appreciate George Halas more, because he's what made the Bears what they are. They got a rich history, and they need to focus on that. And one other thing, that quarterback, if he keeps running the ball like a halfback or a fullback, he's going to have a worse injury than that arm he had. So he needs to let those $1 million halfbacks run the ball. He needs to stay in the pocket and pass the ball. But anyway, that's it. Merry Christmas to y'all. You guys are the greatest.
Thank you, Carl.
All right, Carl.
Appreciate the call.
Merry Christmas to you.
Have a good one.
You know, real quick, think about this. And you know what? I think I've said this, you know, when I was coming out of college, I didn't know anything about the NFL and especially Chicago. And, you know, it was this guy right here beside me that kind of taught me a lot of the history and being around Butkus and all the guys from the great eras, you know, in the 60s. All that being said, you know, what a blessing that all the players that play for the Bears, they should realize the great depth of the foundation of the NFL and the footing and all that stuff that you talk about, OB. You know, if you're in Cincinnati or Tampa Bay, I mean, they're, you know, Johnny come latelys.
There was
the
only
Bears,
one. There was only one man,
and he started it.
There's no question.
It truly is amazing.
There's no question about it, Dan. You know, and I've mentioned this before. Not only this little student of the game, but a little history. I've been since I can remember. Period. The Chicago Bears, and if it wasn't for George Halas, I don't know if this game ever would have been invented or would have gone to the heights of where it is today. And there's a lot of people from George Halas's day to where it is now that they should be given credit to. But there's only one man, only one. And it was George Halas. It wasn't the Myra family from New York. It wasn't a few other people. It was George Stanley Halas. He's the one that gave several teams, when it was in hard times, he would give them monies to keep their franchises going and keep them alive, because he had some kind of a vision. And I'll tell you what, I don't think that anybody had, but he damn well knew. He stuck by his guns, and he made this league. And this is what you have today.
Thanks, Carl. Appreciate the phone call. 28-13, Bears over the Lions. We have some lines open, 312-981-7200. We'll take a quick time out here. Hampton will be sponsored by your local Chevy dealer, ChevyDriveChicago.com. Put a Chevy Silverado in your toolbox. And we say a big thanks to Rosebud Restaurants for the big, fantastic game day meals. Chicago staple serving up century-old recipes at each of their 8 locations. You can experience the iconic Rosebud on Taylor. I'm so choked up.
Yeah, there you go. Well, it should be. It's a great restaurant. I'm going to tell you what, one other thing, Carl. I had a love and hate thing with George Halas. I loved him for what he did, who he was, and how he nurtured the Bears and the entire league. And then the love and then the hate part comes in. That was in contract time, okay? And every time I held out, in my 11 years, I held out 4 times. 4 times I wanted more money. And 4 times I lost. And he fined me, and he took the money, and he kept it and never gave it back to me. So that shows you what a good negotiator I was.
0 for 4, huh?
0 for 4, blanked.
But folks, think about this: the history of this guy right here beside me. I mean, to have played for George Halas, that is truly incredible.
Well, let's try this again. Thank you to Rosebud Restaurants for their fantastic game day meals. It was all my fault. I was all choked up. Chicago staple serving up century-old recipes at each of their 8 locations. You can experience the iconic Rosebud on Taylor. Now you're going
Andy, you're slaughtering.
Now you're going to make me laugh.
We're going to lose.
We will not lose Rosebud. I swear we will not lose Rosebud, because they provide fantastic game day meals. It's a Chicago staple serving up century-old recipes. Oh, OB, you're killing. I'm 0 for 2 now. I know what you feel with George Hallis.
OB was 0 for 4.
Yeah,
though.
experience the iconic Rosebud on Taylor. You can stop by Rosetta Italian in the Loop, Rosebud on Rush, or warm up after the game at Rosebud on Randolph. Don't forget about Rosebud Deerfield, Lamont, Naperville, Carmine's, Rosemont. And also, it's time to plan your holiday party. Just head to rosebudrestaurants.com. You click on the events tab and let the party begin.
On air, online, all the time. Chicago, WGN.
It's been a long time coming. You beat to win 2 in a row, and it's 2 division, opponents, which is big. And the guys are super excited, but we could feel this coming. With the improvement was happening, over time. And I just kept telling them, if you keep doing right, it's going to be right, and good things are going to happen.
That is that coach, Matt Eberflus. After the Bears win today at 28-13, Hampton will be sponsored by your local Chevy dealer, ChevyDriveChicago.com. Bears win at 28-13. By the way, we're going to be with you until 5:30 tonight. We're going to take you right up to the Blackhawks pregame show. The Hawks continuing and wrapping up their homestand against the Washington Capitals. Joe Brand will have the pregame from the United Center, so we'll be with you until 5:30. So if you have comments or questions for us, 312-981-7200. That is our number.
Listeners.
Exactly right. All right, let's get to a couple of calls here before we get to our news break at the top of the hour. Tom is driving home from Soldier Field, both hands on the wheel. And Tom, you're on with Hampton OB. Go ahead.
Yeah, we really enjoy it. One of the most enjoyable things about going to Soldier Field of the game is listening to you guys on our drive back. And so I really appreciate that. But we're a little frustrated. We want to know what you think about why they don't teach these guys this is a team sport. When it's 4th down, don't intercept the ball. Knock it down. 2 times today. They would have been in much better position if they just would have knocked the ball down instead of intercepting the ball. Why don't they teach them that?
That's natural instincts, Tom. That would be my answer to you. It's natural instincts for them. The defensive back, if he's in position, grab the ball, make the interception, make the play.
And it's a new day, and stats matter. And Jalen Johnson is obviously slated to be in a contract year. And the more interceptions, the more stats, the more tackles, all those things, it adds up. And you're exactly right. And you know what? Things have changed, but the common sense part of it, yeah. It makes sense. Knock the ball down and take the ball where it was, snapped from. But, again, today the kids are all, it's all about stats.
Well, it's all about me. That's what the game is today.
It is. It's all about
and
me.
they say, yeah, it's a team concept, but it's still all about me. But it's a natural instinct, Tom, and exactly what Dan said.
Tom, thanks for the call. Appreciate it. Be safe on your ride home. 28-13 is the final of the Bears over the Detroit Lions today at Soldier Field. So the Bears now move to 5-8. The Lions drop to 9-4 on the season. And, obviously a big win. And I know there are a lot of folks that have thought, okay, well, and I know Cole Kmet was one of those guys that was talked to earlier in the week on the podium about the fact that, they really felt like they could run the table the last 5 games. I mean, obviously, it's not inconceivable. We saw them play very well today in certain aspects of the game, but another tough test faced them next week.
I've talked about this over the years. I got here in 79. We made the playoffs, and it didn't work out. And then the next year, not so much. And then the next year, then we got Ditka. In 82, we went through the strike. And after we came back from the strike, we were trying to find our way. And I can't remember what our record was. It was like 5-4 or 5 and something. But starting the 83 season, we started to find a kind of a groove and kind of started buying in and believing in ourselves. And it doesn't happen, like a lightning strike. It's I hate to say it, but what Eberflus said there, you do right and a lot of right things start to happen. And you know what? If that's the way he wants to phrase it or whatever, they're starting to do a lot of the things you got to do to win games. Control the line of scrimmage. Don't turn the ball over. Capitalize on mistakes. All those things, they've been better and better the last month or so. And it's really no secret why they're playing better, and it's starting to turn out where we're winning football games. And if hey, this is going to be a big test. Going to Cleveland, they're 8-5. They're in the middle of the playoff run. Flacco is Superman. He's throwing for 300 yards a couple of weeks in a row. They're buying in.
Yeah, but he was tended bar a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Okay? Wasn't even in the league.
Yeah, and you know what? They're buying in. Trust me. They've got the nucleus of a very good team that now they're starting to buy in. So, hey, we're going to find out which one of these teams are really believing it and how we play, and hopefully we get prepared and we have a great plan to go to war with them.
The one thing I like, Tom, about what happened today is that it wasn't their mouth that was doing the talking. It was the players. They were on the field, especially our defensive team. And again, if there's any reason why we've won this game, or we won back-to-back games the first time since the year 2021, is because of the defense. And that's why we won. Not the offense. It's because of the defense shutting down an entire their Detroit Lions and their offense. I mean, they're high in the running game, passing game. Their stats are unbelievable in the league. And they've shut them down, and that's how we won this football game. And if we're going to win, Danny, if we're going to go to the next 4 games, defense has to play like today, if not better, for us to win. It's about the defense. That's how we're going to get these victories.
28-13, the final. We'll take a quick timeout here. Come back with more of your phone calls, 312-981-7200 after the news. Again, we're with you till 5:30 here tonight. Hampton will be sponsored by your local Chevy dealers at ChevyDriveChicago.com. Put a Chevy Silverado in your toolbox. Folks, he's back. Longtime sponsor, Nationwide agent Jeff Vukovich is back for all your auto, your home, your business needs. Contact Vuk at JeffVuk.com. And remember, Nationwide is on your side.
Definitely get that feeling where we up 2 scores and we was just like, we kind of getting a little happy. We like, hold on, you know what I'm saying, back up. Because we just got humbled like 3 weeks ago. So we wanted to finish on a good note.
Bears defensive lineman Montez Sweat had a sack tonight. And a 28-13 win. Bears over the Lions at Soldier Field. Hampton will be sponsored by your local Chevy dealers. ChevyDriveChicago.com. Put a Chevy Silverado in your toolbox. Andy Mazer and the fellas here. We're here till 5:30.
Kind of amazing about him. Twice in this game, nobody blocked him.
Yeah.
And the game last week, nobody blocked him. And the game before that, nobody blocked him. I personally, I don't understand it. But twice, nobody touched him. And he didn't get the quarterback.
Interesting strategy.
Yeah, yeah.
Didn't really pay off for them. 312-981-7200. Let's get to a couple of calls here, and then we'll get to our bonehead plays of the game. Let's start with Tony on the north side. Tony, you're up with Hampton OB. Go ahead.
Hi. Yes, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
I can hear you, Tony.
Good. I have a question for you, Mr. Hampton. It's about Steve McMichael. I remember he was such a great player, and he also had this very sharp wit. And the first time I ever heard the term cheesehead is when Steve McMichael said it. My question is a 2-part. Did he originate that phrase? And if so, is he getting any kind of a royalty off of all of those cheese hats that they sell to the Packer fans?
No, I don't think so. And quite honestly, I think that was a phrase that
That's been around.
Yeah, it's been prevalent.
Tony, that's been around for decades.
Yep. And, he really was. He had a biting, sarcastic wit. And, when you retire from the game, Andy, and, you kind of look back and, you think about playing. The thing you miss so much is like in the film room, and what everybody's saying to each other watching the film. And we were merciless. We would see Eddie Jackson he would quit and move back to Alabama or someplace because we would just destroy him in a film room, watching all the bad plays. And Steve and I, we were merciless. Anybody and everybody, we were putting it on them.
No hostages, huh?
No. And you know what? I mean, and see that's kind of like the way it has to be. You're playing for the jersey and the fans and all that, but it's about your teammates, and you're out there, just struggling, with your gut to try to win for your buddies, your teammates, and playing with him and Dent and Singletary all those years, it was such a great group.
312-981-7200. Let's go to the north side again. We'll say hi to Patrick. Patrick, you're up with Hampton OB. Go ahead.
Hey, how you doing, guys? I got a question. I've been hearing all these fans and some of the talking heads on the radio. They want Eberflus going. But I got a question for them and anybody that's of that mindset. Name me the first time an NFL coach lost his defensive coordinator early in the season, then lost a running backs coach in the season, still kept the team together. He had a defense that was like last in the league, and he was getting them to play or turn around. Now, on another one of the radio shows, the Blabbermouths asked Jalen Johnson, they actually said to him, Eberflus looks like he's a better defensive coordinator than he is a head coach. The response from Jalen was immediate. I think he's doing a good job in both areas. And it was a nasty response. Like, obviously, you don't know what you're talking about. So I don't get this. He had no talent last year, very little this year, and he's doing some things with them. Yeah, he's made mistakes, but let's see. He lost to the Lions the last time he lost to the Lions. He didn't drop a pass. He didn't drop a pick six. Those were players that did that. When he lost to I think it was Denver, he didn't drop a ball in the end zone. I think a player did that. So I know both you guys are players. At some point, players win games, players lose games. Coaches, he made some bad coaching decisions. I'm not going to deny that. But let's take a look at the whole picture and what he was given. And even today you're hearing that players are saying, hey, he's our guy. And I don't get all the animosity like the fire fluff. For what? For what? Was this team going to win the Super Bowl? Did anybody say in September this team's going to win 13 games? If they did, they need to get off the crack pipe.
Thanks, Patrick.
Patrick, thanks so much for the call. And you know what? And I that's in a very even-keeled way, I've tried to make that premise the last month, that instead of the team falling apart in little pieces and it becoming just a travesty, they're actually finding ways to scratch out wins. And Eberflus, and you can say what you want, and I know that I'm not, but you think the world of Dan Campbell, and yeah, he's got. But Kevin O'Connell, the coach up in Minnesota, last year he won 11 one-score games. Never happened before. So was he a great coach? Well, maybe. Well, guess what? In the matchup up in Minnesota, we were able to find a way to win without scoring a touchdown. So you have to grudgingly be able to give Eberflus a lot of credit for a number of different things. Now, all that being said, the body blow to us is, where the hell was he in September, in October?
He didn't have him ready to play.
Ready.
That's just a fact.
It's a cardinal sin, and it's so hard for us to get over that.
312-981-7200, the number. We'll be with you till 5:30. We're going to take a time out here. And when we come back, it's time for our bonehead plays of the game. And remember, they don't necessarily have to be Bears bonehead plays, because the Bears won today, 28-13. If you're just joining us here, Hampton OB, sponsored by your local Chevy dealer, ChevyDriveChicago.com. Put a Chevy Silverado in your toolbox.
Like sleeping like a baby. Visit akpainandspine.com. Book a same-day appointment. That's akpainandspine.com.
Basically just shows us the formula of winning. So takeaways, explosive plays and stuff like that, third down conversion and stuff like that. So I think those are the areas eventually to where you win games, winning the fourth quarter and finishing. So as long as we focus on those aspects, those situations, we're more likely to win again and lose a game. And everybody's bought in the past 3 or 4 weeks, and we're all coming together as a team.
Justin Fields, after the Bears win at 28-13 today over the Lions. Hampton OB is sponsored by your local Chevy dealer, ChevyDriveChicago.com. And, you hear all these players talk about the last 3 weeks. I mean, obviously, winning, it's much easier to teach off a win than it is off a loss, because the ears are kind of perked up. You're feeling pretty good about yourself. And that win against the Vikings came at a great time, because you want to go into that bye week at least feeling good about yourself.
Think about this. That win up in Minnesota 2 weeks ago. we didn't score a touchdown, and yet we had 4 turnovers. We had intercepted their quarterback 4 times. Since 2014, that had happened 64 times in the NFL. 64 times over the last 10 years, a team was the beneficiary of 4 interceptions, and they had won 63 of the 64 games. Only one team had lost, and we almost lost.
Yeah.
But somehow, by hook or crook, they were able to put a drive together at the end. Remember what Justin Fields did in the pocket, buying time, climbing the pocket, throwing it to DJ Moore. Now we got a chip shot field goal after we burn the clock. Those are the plays that make everybody start saying, when they put their head on the pillow at night, we got a chance. We got a chance. I saw him do that. We got a chance. So I'm just saying, was the kid perfect today? No. But the rest of them see he makes certain things happen, and sometimes it works out, and you get a win. That's when everybody buys in.
Yeah, when you're watching, too, I mean, you can see some of the guys, especially on offense, especially that offensive line, that they trust this guy. They seem like they really trust him.
Well, and I've seen other teams where the quarterback was a fraud, and everybody knew it, and nobody wanted to play with him. But again, this is, baby steps, and, winning games is the big part, the only part really, but the minutia of the quarterback not turning it over, the defense playing great, shutting out the opponent in the second half, all these things, everybody starts believing. They start to buy in.
Well, Danny, well said, but I don't have to buy into what you said. I'll buy into somewhat of what you just said. But I'm going to tell you what, everybody's got to be on the same page, Dan. If you want to be a world champion, you all have to, the coaches, the ownership, everybody, folks. It all counts. As insignificant as some of it may sound, it just has to be. Everybody has to be on the same page, okay? And obviously with the Chicago Bears, we haven't been on the same page, and I couldn't tell you when. With ownership, management, coaches, players, it's been an absolute mess. And we won today. Let's leave it as a victory. Let's move forward. We've got to go to Cleveland and play there, and let's see what happens. These 4 games, I don't know really how important they're going to be, because there's been some bad coached games the last 2 years with Eberflus. That just happens to be a fact, okay? Now, if this game today and the next 4, if that can change the attitude of ownership and of management of this team, then so be it. That's their job, and that's what they get the big money, and we'll see what happens. But I'm going to tell you, as far as I'm concerned, I'd have to take a long, hard look at keeping Eberflus and any one of the 24 coaches right now that are on this team. Period.
Time now for the Curveball Whiskey Bonehead Play of the Game, sponsored by Curveball, the original barbecue whiskey. Join the Bonehead Nation today at curveballwhiskey.com. All right, who wants to go first? You're going to go first? Okay, go ahead, Bobby.
Are you going to sip it or flip it?
I'm going to smooth it.
Smooth it.
Sip it. I've been doing that, and I flip it down. But now I've been smoothing it. And what I mean by smoothing it, Mr. Hampton, over the rocks, over the ice. It's very smooth and easy.
Nice.
There you go. Now, wait, what was the question?
What's your bonehead play of the game?
The bonehead play, Dan Campbell, head coach of the Lions, with that challenge. I mean, we're sitting up here, and we could see that wasn't going to fly. And what did he do? He lost the timeout because his challenge was denied. That was the bonehead
play of the game.
Yeah.
Play of the game.
And it was a great catch by Cole Kmet, securing the ball with his offhand as he hit the ground. It was beautiful. And like you said, we're on the 18th floor. We saw it. And, yeah, good for the Bears. My bonehead play is a twofold thing. It was 3rd down, and Justin Fields, under pressure, duress in the pocket, somehow pleaded his case and got a favorable call where he was supposedly throwing the ball away and didn't take
He was
the sack.
down.
We thought he was down, but the officials didn't see it that way. So they went ahead. Now it's 4th and 13. The Bears are going for it on 4th and 13. And the moron defensive lineman for the Detroit Lions jumps offside, folks, what happens when you jump off sides like that and it's so obvious and visual, everybody on the defense kind of goes, oh, and everybody relaxed. And DJ Moore ran by the corner, and Justin Fields threw a strike for a touchdown. That was my bonehead play of the game.
Well done, gentlemen. Well done, indeed. And a couple of great candidates right there for the bonehead play of the game. Curveball Whiskey, of course, sponsoring that, and our Bonehead Nation at boneheadnation.com. 312-981-7200. We have time for a couple of more quick calls. We're going to get to the bottom of the hour here, and we're going to go out to the United Center to bring in Joe Brand for their Blackhawks pregame show tonight. Blackhawks going for their third straight win, and that would be a nice little thing to have happen as well. Let's go out to Bob and Kerry. Hang on, Bob.
This town in sports, come on, we got to start winning here.
I know. We need some back-to-backs.
And maybe today, just everybody, the Blackhawks, Sox, Cubs, enough.
Bulls have won 4 straight now, yeah.
I'm losing. That's all we do is lose.
All right, Bob, go ahead. You're on with Hampton OB.
Oh, I agree with what Ed just said.
God almighty.
Got to get it all moving.
I think it was in the first half, and I would have made a different decision. I think the Bears were leading, and they went for it on 4th down. They didn't make it. I was calling for a punt in that situation because with the lead, I'd rather put Detroit back on their part of the field. But that's just my call that I made from the couch. And then going forward, I just don't have a good feeling about Fields. I don't know. I like Badgett when he was playing. He seemed like he had better reads on what he was going to do, and it seems to me just by watching Fields that he just I don't know. I think he goes into panic mode if he doesn't have his first option. I want to see what you guys thought on that.
Bob, let me ask you a question real quick here. Okay? We go to Cleveland. Let's say we lose that game. Then we have 3 games left. Do you sit down Justin Fields and do you play our free agent quarterback? Do you play him the next 3 games to see what he's got before the season ends?
My answer is I would like to see Badgett play more. I want to see who I have. I just feel like he's going to be a good quarterback in this league. I don't know what team, but that's just my opinion.
Well, I tell you what, I think that if we go out and we go to Cleveland and we lose that football game, I think what the smart thing to do, Danny, and please jump in here on this, I think the smart move would be if we lose that game, we've had enough of Fields, sit him down next 2 games, see what we've got in this young quarterback. See what we have.
Okay, and the team would do that if they were sure that...
we're going nowhere where we are now, Danny.
The team would possibly, think about doing that if it wasn't about the future of Justin Fields. Now, I'm just telling you. Folks,
well, that would tell you the future.
Okay. Imagine, I'm watching up here, Minnesota's got that Dobbs character, and they're in a fist fight with the Raiders. And you don't think that Kevin O'Connell would die to have Justin Fields as his quarterback? Remember, Kirk Cousins is out of contract and practically out the door. I mean, beware if you throw out your guy that he could come back and haunt you. And I'm just saying you have to weigh all of these possibilities. Dan, now, as far as playing Badgett, we saw him for a month.
Michigan drying up before that happens.
But I'm just telling you, so much is up in the air. I don't think that we will not see that. But there's a certain logic to it. Yes, I could see that.
All right, guys, fuel up for the Bears' next game. It's sponsored by Mariano's, where you can save up to $2 a gallon by saving Mariano's fuel points. Take your money and your mileage farther with Mariano's. As we've alluded to, it's a game at Cleveland next weekend, a 12 noon kickoff. We'll be on the air with you at 11 a.m. for our pregame show. Again, the Browns beat the Jaguars today, 31-27. Joe Flacco, 3 touchdown passes and 311 yards passing.
And he was tending bar a few weeks ago.
He was sipping it, flipping it,
He wasn't even in the league, folks.
That's the truth.
And we're going to Cleveland and play against him. Hey, that game could tell a lot, Danny.
Yes, it could. And again, remember, maybe the darkest day of Justin Fields' career was at Cleveland on a Monday night, and I think he was sacked 9 times. And we had how many yards?
He was sacked 9 times, folks, and we had a total net yardage for the entire game, the 4 quarters of running and passing, 47 yards, of which we had 46 yards running, and we had a net 1 yard passing. Justin Fields in that game in Cleveland. 47 total yards and a net 1 yard passing in 4 quarters of football. That defies the word impossible. It can happen. It's unbelievable. It defies every one of those words. How the hell can you throw for a net 1 yard?
We saw it. Let's hope we don't see it again.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you got that one, big man.
Gentlemen, have a great week. We'll see you next weekend. The Bears take on the Cleveland Browns in Cleveland.
Thank you, Andy.
You got it, guys. Hampton OB is sponsored by your local Chevy dealers at ChevyDriveChicago.com. Couple of seconds, we're going to send things out to the United Center where Joe Brand is standing by. He'll bring you Blackhawks Central pregame as the Blackhawks take on the Washington Capitals. Alexander Ovechkin. And the Blackhawks have won back-to-back games for the first time all season. They will try to make it 3 straight victories right here. Blackhawks and the Capitals next on WGN.
Welcome to Chicago Blackhawks Professional Hockey.